Chapter 1084. Ill Fate. Ancient devil Xianxia's body released endless devilish energy and formed a giant devil shadow above him. This devil shadow was about to charge into the sky. However, as the red longsword pressed down, the devil shadow let out a groan, and its whole body was pressed down. Just as the red longsword slashed down, the devil shadow raised its arms in an attempt to resist. However, with a bang, the devil shadow's arms collapsed and weren't able to stop the red longsword at all. Fear filled ancient devil Xianxia's eyes. Others may not know the origin of the four holy treasures, but as he observed them, he became even more sure about his speculation. This is the primordial heavenly Tao treasure? Ancient devil gasped. The devil shadow above him rumbled, and wasn't able to stop the sword at all. The sword split the devil shadow in half and charged at Xianxia. Just at this moment, the Alzer revealed a decisive look. He waved his sleeve and his body was surrounded in seven-colored light. He then took a deep breath before pointing up and shouting, "Heavenly Fate's seven colors, will of the heavens red." After he spoke, his body trembled. The red light separated from the seven-colored light around him and shot at the longsword, descending on ancient devil Xianxia. Orange! The orange light separated from the remaining six colors. The Alzer shouted the name of each color, and all seven colors split off one by one. They fused together and shot forward as a ray of rainbow light. Seven lights fused into one and formed the diagram of the heavens. The Alzer's black hair moved without any wind. With that last roar, the seven-colored light immediately rotated, forming a seven-colored vortex. 3 pieces of wood shell appeared from within the vortex. The Alzer grabbed them and threw them forward. The 3 wooden shells collided with each and fell to form a diagram. The Alzer stared at the diagram as his hands formed a seal, then he pointed, borrowing fate to form Tao. After he spoke, an indescribable aura came out from the 3 wooden shells. The moment this aura appeared, even the red longsword paused for a moment. It was as if a power was about to awaken from the 3 wooden shells and was about to charge out. The moment this power spread out, everyone was shocked. The brilliant void old man's eyes narrowed as he looked at the Alzer with a mysterious light in his eyes. This Alzer is Tao, so it turns out to not the heavenly fate. It's borrowing the heavenly fate to form his own Tao C. This person was actually able to cultivate Tao with this kind of idea, and was able to build such a domain. He has almost caught a glimpse of Tao. Even ancient devil Xianxia seemed to see through some clue and gasped. There was shock in his eyes as he looked at the All-Seer. Wang Lin stared at the aura coming out from the 3 pieces of wooden shell. He remembered this aura very well. Inside his bag there were some crystals he had taken from the skull of the 8-star ancient god. The aura from those crystals was exactly the same as the aura from the wooden shells. Seeing the aura from the wooden shells become stronger, the vermilion bird divine emperor's eyes narrowed. Without hesitation, his right hand pointed forward, and he activated the 3rd style of the vermilion bird holy treasure on his own. He shouted, "Fire heaven!" The red longsword let out a loud sword hymn and flames spread out. The flames filled the sky and even spread out through the hole in the sky. In an instant, half of the starfield was covered in flames. An aura similar to that of the wooden shells appeared from within the sword, but it was even stronger. When the vermilion bird divine emperor's finger pointed down, the sword sliced down. It collided with the 3 pieces of wooden shell. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A deafening sound was followed by a powerful shock wave. The 3 pieces of wood directly collapsed, and even the 7-colored vortex behind it was torn apart. The Alzer coughed out a mouthful of blood and retreated like crazy. That longsword pressed down, broke through all obstacles, and landed on Xianxia's forehead. At this moment, dense, black mist gathered between Xianxia's eyebrows, and his true ancient devil body appeared. He charged out form between his eyebrows with the intent to reverse even the heavens. He was an ancient devil, a member of one of the 3 ancient orders, a heaven-defying clan. As the sword pressed down, the ancient devil's angry roar echoed across the world. However, the moment his true spirit appeared, the longsword flashed red. It was the drop of blood that had fused with the holy treasure. It unexpectedly flew out from the sword and landed directly between the ancient devil's eyebrows. This blood isn't primordial heavens Tao. Ancient devil Xianxia let out a scream. The area between his eyebrows seemed to melt and the drop of blood penetrated through. His true spirit was forced back into Qing Lin's body. Just as he was about to retreat, the blood landed between Qing Lin's eyebrows and formed a scarlet seal. Ancient Devil Tajia's body trembled, and immediately fell on the ground. The vermilion bird divine Emperor's origin soul became blurred. He was only here with his origin soul, and activating the holy treasure had consumed a lot of origin energy. If it was only opening the first and second styles, it wouldn't have been much, but he was the only one who could open the third style. However, the price was difficult to bear, even for him. His body became even more blurred, but he waved his hand. The red longsword flew out after the retreating Alzer. In an instant, the longsword closed in and slashed at the Alzer's head. After this slash, the azure dragon spear, white tiger blade, and black tortoise axe all appeared. It was obvious that the vermilion bird divine emperor had the intent to kill. The Alzer's expression was ferocious, and his head jerked up. At this moment of crisis, his right hand reached between his eyebrows and ripped the third seal halfway off. Even though only it was half torn off, an unimaginable aura 10 times stronger exploded to resist the blow from the 4 holy treasures. Thunder rumbles echoed, and a shockwave spread. The Alzer coughed out blood as he continued to retreat. In the blink of an eye, he opened space and disappeared. The red longsword floated motionlessly in the air. The vermilion bird divine emperor silently pondered as his body became more transparent. Looking at where the Alzer escaped, he shook his head. I am getting old. If it was me in my prime, this Alzer wouldn't escape the 4 holy treasures second style. He let out a sigh as he looked at everyone. When his gaze finally fell on the brilliant void old man, he slowly said, "Old friend, are you going to be the enemy of my 4 divine sect again?" The brilliant void old man silently pondered for a moment. He looked at ancient Devil Tajia, who had been sealed, and then at the holy treasures that were still floating there. With his power, if he wanted to act, the only thing he had to fear was the holy treasures. This old man only can repay Qing Lin a favor. Since the ancient devil has been sealed by you with the holy treasures, this matter is over. Farewell! After weighing his options, he gave up on attacking. He had a deep fear of the 4 holy treasures. Although they were far weaker than before, if he forced the 4 divine sect into a corner and they began using blood sacrifices. The old man let out a sigh as he charged at the sky. In the sky, he turned around and looked at Mu Bingmei. Mu Bingmei pondered a bit. She bit her lower lip and softly said, "Let me look at him once." "Is that all right, just once?" The vermilion bird divine emperor was startled. His gaze swept over Wang Lin, but he didn't speak. Wang Lin's face was deathly pale, and his injuries had reached the limit of what he could withstand. His origin soul was showing signs of dissipating, and Mu Bingmei's words made him tremble in pain. This pain was revealed through his eyes. Wang Lin didn't turn around and didn't respond to Mu Bingmei. Instead, he looked at the vermilion bird divine emperor and asked, "Are you taking me back to the vermilion bird divine sect?" The vermilion bird divine emperor nodded. "Take my friends that were injured because of me and let them recover, then I can agree to any condition your vermilion bird divine sect has." The vermilion bird divine emperor smiled and nodded. "Okay." After he spoke, the surrounding 4 divine sect disciples dispersed and assisted the injured. As for the alliance cultivators, they all retreated with fear in their eyes. A lot of my friends have lost their bodies. The 4 divine sect will help them reform their bodies. My brother Situ is affected by a poison of the corpse sect. Chai. My benefactor, Zhou Yi, requires Qing Lin to be resurrected. I'll give you Qing Lin's body. If you need the 4 divine sect to help, we will give you all our support. In the demon spirit land, I have a direct disciple. I'll send someone to take them to the vermilion bird divine sect. These celestials of the alliance want to kill me. I want these celestials' origin souls. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He had never shown mercy to people who intended to harm him. He had always acted like a demon toward them. The surrounding celestials didn't hesitate to start running around like scattered birds. The vermilion bird divine emperor's eyes lit up and he nodded. "This matter is easy." He waved his sleeves, and the holy treasures split in 4 and scattered to sweep the area. Miserable screams immediately echoed. More blood came out of Mu Bingmei's lower lip due to Wang Lin's indifference. Pain filled her eyes and she shouted, "Wang Lin, I want to see him." "I am begging you to let me see him." Wang Lin couldn't see the pain in her eyes, but he knew that his own pain was something that would never disappear. Wang Lin closed his eyes and calmly said, "I owe this woman a life-saving pill and a life-saving favor." The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor smiled. "I'll find a way to help you repay the debt and make sure the brilliant Void Realm is satisfied. Any other problems?" Wang Lin silently pondered before he shook his head and softly said, "Let us go." The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor waved his sleeve and Wang Lin's body floated into the air. When Wang Lin was surrounded by his origin energy, the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor charged at the opening in the sky. "Wang Lin, he is my child, I want to see him." Mu Bingmei's expression was pale. Her body trembled as she stared at Wang Lin, and both her fists were clenched. "You unworthy!" Wang Lin suddenly turned around and let out a roar. He had been restraining his emotions, restraining his feelings, but at this moment he couldn't restrain them any longer. That roar vented the hundreds of years of pain in his heart. He was already seriously injured, and this roar that was filled with hundreds of years of suppressed pain affected his mind. He coughed out a mouthful of blood, and his vision went dark. The four divine sect left. They took everyone. 2 streams of tears came from Mu Bingmei's eyes, and intense pain filled her heart. She coughed out a mouthful of blood and also fell down. The old man from the brilliant void realm let out a sigh. He waved his hand and took Mu Bingmei far away. In the void, only his ancient voice echoed. "Ill fate." Not paying attention, this chapter quickly racks up 5,000 words. Does that qualify as a major chapter? Could it be wishing for the like button for the video? Chapter 108, Old Friend. As he walked out of the cave, Wang Lin coldly looked around and saw 100 or so people split into 5 groups. They were surrounding a young man. A middle-aged man walked out of the mob of people. He clasped his hands and said, "Junior brother Li Shan, your Xuandao sect already has a token. Why do you need so many? If you hand it over, we won't trouble you anymore." Among the disciples of Wufeng Valley, a disciple snorted and said, "Li Shan, hand over the tokens or you will die for sure." The person they surrounded was Li Shan, someone that Wang Lin had met back in the Hangyua sect. He was here to represent the Xuandao sect, and was the only QI condensation disciple from the Xuandao sect. The Juming Valley only had an upper limit and not a lower limit on who could enter, so even a QI condensation disciple was allowed inside. Most sects wouldn't send a QI condensation disciple though. Li Shan was able to come because he was good at making fake magic pills and he was a master of sneak attacks. With these abilities, Punanzi broke the rules and let him go. Punanzi also gave him a magic treasure that made it so people wouldn't be able to detect him. The downside of this treasure is the more he uses it, the less effective it becomes. Li Shan really did have some skill. Thanks to the protection of his fellow disciples, he was able to steal quite a few things during battles, including 2 tokens. Adding on the token the Xuandao sect already had, they now held 3 tokens. The sects that lost their tokens attacked non-stop in the hopes of taking one back, which was why there were so many battles before. But it was also because Li Shan was too greedy. After he entered the Juming Valley, every time he saw someone, he would use that treasure to hide his presence and steal something. As he used it more and more, the magic treasure gradually lost its effect, and when he was stealing the 4th token, the magic treasure completely lost its effect. He was found out, but the Xuandao sect disciples reacted quickly enough to save his life. The news spread out and all of the sects that had lost the token stopped fighting and rushed toward the Xuandao sect's gathering place. The Xuandao sect's disciples were trapped there, so he secretly escaped using the tunnel he had dug ahead of time. However, what he didn't expect was to be found and forced to flee the moment he came out of the tunnel. He only ran a few steps when he turned around and saw more than 100 swordlights chasing after him. He almost fell to the ground because every one of them was at the foundation establishment stage. And this is how the situation played out. Li Shan knelt down and threw 2 tokens on the ground without any hesitation. The surroundings suddenly became quiet. The 2 sects that had lost their tokens had several people charge out, but how could the other sects just let them take the tokens back? Thus, they sent out people to stop them. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he stared at the 2 tokens on the ground. He moved quickly toward the tokens. Someone noticed him coming and went to stop him, but Wang Lin activated his attraction force technique and threw that person away. Just like that, after several steps, Wang Lin was almost at the tokens. The 2 groups that were fighting finally noticed Wang Lin. The people who were informed of the happenings within the Juming Valley recognized Wang Lin. They all secretly complained, but stopped and didn't dare to move forward. However, there were still some cultivators who had only heard about Wang Lin but never saw him, so they charged forward without any hesitation. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and a small green sword suddenly appeared and began to flash. Every time the sword flashed, a cultivator would be frozen in ice and would die on the spot. Wang Lin secretly sighed. He had noticed a few days that there was something wrong with the flying sword. Ever since his spiritual energy changed, it was harder to make the sword move as he wished. However, he just needed to concentrate more on controlling the sword, and he wouldn't have any more problems. With the power of the G realm's spiritual energy, no foundation establishment cultivator could stand in his way. Even the magic treasures their elders had given them all fell to his J realm's spiritual energy. It has to be said that for a G realm cultivator, their best weapon is their GI realm. Wang Lin walked another 5 steps. For every single step, several people died to the flying sword. Gradually, there were less and less people around him as most of them quickly backed away, not daring to move forward. Wang Lin easily arrived before Li Shan. Li Shan was so scared that he didn't even dare to raise his head. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and grabbed the 2 tokens. He pondered for a while, then put the 2 tokens in his bag of holding. As his cold gaze swept past everyone, he said, "Hand over all of your tokens or die." Li Shan, who was lying on the ground, noticed that the voice was familiar, so he worked up the courage to raise his head. Suddenly, he felt like he was struck by lightning and said, "You Wang Lin!" Wang Lin gazed at Li Shan. This scared Li Shan so much that he shivered and immediately shut up, but there was a storm in his heart. It has to be said that the name Wang Lin was very famous in the Xuan Dao sect. Wang Lin, who arrived like a storm in the exchange between the Heng Yue sect and the Xuan Dao sect, was the goal of many core disciples of the Xuan Dao sect. He was also the person that Li Shan wanted to surpass the most, even in his dreams, especially after the incident with the stink bomb. Li Shan's life was hard after that event. During that time, Li Shan cursed Wang Lin on a daily basis. But even so, he still believed that there would be a day when he would surpass Wang Lin, and after he reached the 14th layer of QI condensation, this thought became even more entrenched in his mind. But now he was dumbfounded as he found out that the difference between them was like the difference between heaven and earth. It had only been a few years and Wang Lin already had the ability to easily kill foundation establishment cultivators. In Li Shan's eyes, Wang Lin's progress was simply too amazing. After hearing Wang Lin's words, the people around him couldn't help but remember Wang Lin's reputation in Juming Valley, and how he had easily killed all those foundation establishment cultivators. Just now, their hearts turned cold. After a long time, a white-clad youth sighed. He looked deeply at Wang Lin and asked, "Fellow cultivator, can you tell me what your cultivation level is?" Wang Lin plainly said, "Foundation establishment." Here comes another 4,000 words in a major chapter. Leo doesn't make empty promises. Could it now be time to wish for the like button for the video? Chapter 1085. 2 years. The entire Alliance star system calmed down with the matter that occurred at the Celestial Emperor Cave. Although the Celestial Emperor Cave was small, so many things were related to it. The Cultivation Alliance suffered heavy losses in this battle. Master Void was dead, and the former Celestial Lord had gone crazy and disappeared. They had also lost a large amount of Celestials. There weren't many that returned back to the Alliance headquarters. These news spread out like snowflakes. In 2 months, almost the entire Alliance star system knew about it. Some didn't believe it, some were shocked, and some had other ideas. There were all kinds of different thoughts about this matter. Most didn't believe the powerful and mighty Cultivation Alliance would suffer a blow like this. However, as time passed, even more rumors arose. After 3 more months, people had to accept this. What shocked these cultivators even more was the return of the 4 Divine Sect. The rumor was that the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor had appeared and used the 4 holy treasures to heavily injure Alliance Elder All-Seer and seal the awakened Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. This was heaven-shaking news. Many people were shocked with disbelief and a very deep hidden sense of fear. The figure of the 4 Divine Sect gradually appeared within everyone's hearts as the rumors spread. The former overlord of this star system was like a fierce beast that had been asleep for countless years and had regained consciousness. At the same time, the Alheaven cultivators also stopped their attack as if they were pondering the reality of the news. Almost all the cultivators outside the Alliance headquarters became silent when this unbelievable news reached them. They were waiting for the Alliance's retaliation. Since the inception of the Alliance, anyone who offended them would die without a corpse. They would have withstood the Alliance's monstrous anger and revenge. However, as everyone was waiting for the Alliance's action, the Alliance continued to remain silent. They didn't do anything at all. Time slowly passed, and now it was 3 months later. More and more cultivators gradually felt ill at ease as the Cultivation Alliance remained silent. There were only two meanings when they remained silent. Either they were preparing for a heaven-shattering attack, or they had taken an unimaginable blow. Just at this moment, the monstrous formation outside the Alliance headquarters activated and cut off all external communications. This set off a huge uproar. Alheaven immediately launched a massive attack. They advanced on all Alliance resistance like an advancing flood. 1 month after Alheaven launched a full offensive, the mysterious corpse sect immediately announced that they would remain out of the battle between Alheaven and the Alliance. They took the southern domain for themselves and completely sealed it, preventing all non-corpse sect cultivators from entering. Once one entered the southern domain, they would face the corpse sect's devastating attacks. The corpse sect's independence set off a huge uproar in the Alliance, shocking everyone. However, at this moment, the Cultivation Alliance headquarters remained silent. Without commands from headquarters, the Alliance powers across the star system had to unite to deal with Alheaven's attack. However, as a result, it was difficult to form any real resistance. They were constantly pushed back by Alheaven's crazed attacks. After another year of fighting, Alheaven completely occupied the northern domain. Alheaven had successfully taken the western and northern domains, connecting them into one. It has been almost 2 years since the rumors from the Celestial Emperor Cave appeared. In the past 2 years, the Alliance headquarters hadn't sent out any information. The formation completely prevented anyone from entering. From a distance, the Alliance headquarters was no longer lively and was like a dead realm. Rumors that the Alliance headquarters had been uprooted with no survivors remaining had spread in the last 2 years. The cultivators of the former Alliance gradually went from high expectations to massive disappointment to eventual despair. They formed various forces, big and small, and divided the system. They formed many new sects like bamboo sprouts spreading from the bamboo. These forces occupied 3 to 5 planets by combining all their cultivators. Some forces occupied more than 10 planets and formed their own sects. Even more were those that were originally ranked 7 cultivation countries, and now, without the Alliance to manage them, they became independent like the corpse sect. Among those powers, there were 4 that were most powerful, and 2 among them stood on top. They were the only 2 rank 8 cultivation countries in the Alliance. The country of Rising Cloud and country of Reed Flute. These 2 rank 8 cultivation countries' strength remained mostly intact. 1.5 years after the Cultivation Alliance disappeared, they both announced their independence. The other 2 forces were once the backbone of the former Cultivation Alliance. They competed with and devoured each other until they eventually become new forces. They were the Temple of Heaven and the Evil Earth sect. Outside these 4 powers were scattered forces. All of these powers existed within the central area of the Alliance. Alheaven wasn't satisfied with just occupying the west and north regions. Before them were 3 options: the corpse sect to the south, the Alliance remnants in the center, and the mysterious eastern region. Alheaven wasn't willing to provoke the corpse sect unless it was absolutely necessary. As for the eastern region, according to Alheaven's analysis, that area should now belong to the 4 divine sect, but they hadn't gotten any proof. Alheaven dreaded the 4 divine sect even more than the corpse sect. As a result, the Alliance remnants and headquarters were naturally first on the list. Alheaven's army was just about to launch an attack. But the formation outside the Alliance headquarters suddenly activated and gradually opened. The opening of the Alliance headquarters caused a storm to sweep across the Alliance star system and caused Alheaven to immediately stop. Even the corpse sect began to observe closely. There was no need to talk about the former Alliance cultivators who had made their own sects. Just as everyone was observing the Alliance headquarters didn't do anything to the newly formed sects and allow them to continue to exist. What they did was send out a kill order. Kill Wang Lin. This person was once a member of Alheaven with the alias Shu Mu. Taoist named Master Demon, the Al-Heaven Thunder Celestial. Now he is a member of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect of the Four Divine Sect. Anyone who takes this person's origin soul can obtain the Celestial Realm inheritance the Cultivation Alliance obtained. In addition to this kill order, the Cultivation Alliance also sent out sealed order. All the sects formed by former Alliance cultivators that resist the Al-Heaven cultivators for 60 years to protect the Alliance headquarters will be allowed into the Elder Group and enjoy all the power of the Celestial Realm inheritance. Those that escape without battling will find their life souls destroyed when the Alliance collapses. In addition, when the Alliance headquarters opened, a large amount of treasures and jades were sent out to the former Alliance cultivators. All these treasures and celestial spells were accumulated by the Alliance for countless years. Sending them out in such large numbers showed the danger the Alliance headquarters was facing. After releasing these two orders and a large amount of treasures and jades, the formation outside the Alliance headquarters activated once more, sealing it completely. However, that brief opening caused the hearts of the former Alliance cultivators to turn cold. Most of the cultivators didn't have their life souls with them. The stronger the cultivator, the more forceful the Alliance was in taking their life soul. Resistance meant death. As a result, this allowed the Cultivation Alliance to rule over the star system for countless years. The moment the Alliance headquarters sent out the orders, the Four Divine Sect arose in the eastern region. The Four Divine Sect really did do as Al-Heaven had suspected and destroyed all other forces in the eastern region aside from the Brilliant Void Realm. At this moment, the entire Alliance star system was divided into pieces and became the battleground for several powers. Although Al-Heaven was the strongest on the surface, with the mysterious Corpse Sect, the famous Four Divine Sect, and the Alliance remnants that had obtained treasure and celestial spells that were fighting with their life souls on the line, caused these powers to reach a delicate balance. However, the feud between Al-Heaven's Master Flamespark and the Cultivation Alliance wouldn't end because of this balance. Al-Heaven once more launched their attack at the Alliance remnants at the center. The flames of war spread. As the battle continued, the casualties increased. At this moment, within the Four Divine Sect in the eastern region, there was a burning star field. There was a large white stone within this burning star field, and a young man sat on top of it. He wore a white robe, and although he looked ordinary, he had a strange temperament that gave him the aura of a celestial. His eyes were closed, and as his chest rose up and down, two gas dragons came up from his nose. The two dragons circled him several times before he inhaled them back in through his nose and mouth. During this process, large amounts of white flames came out from the white stone and were inhaled into the youth's body along with the two gas dragons. He had been sitting here for 2 years. During these 2 years, he had never left this place. He calmly cultivated here, absorbing the fire and healing his origin soul injuries. There was an old man behind him. This old man was very old and looked as if he had lost most of his vitality. During these 2 years, he would occasionally raise his right hand and point at the youth's back. Every time his fingertip landed, the old man trembled. Large amounts of origin energy came out of his body and entered the youth through his fingertips. The youth would also tremble, and his white hair would move without any wind. The intense temperature inside his body became even stronger. In the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, every generation of Divine Emperor must learn the Vermilion Bird 9 mysterious transformation. This spell was inherited from primordial times and is one of the most powerful spells in existence today. At 36, Leo is still getting wisdom teeth, in pain for many days, with swollen jaws, frustrated, and they're not even breaking through yet. Counting them, there are 3 or 4 wisdom teeth not yet emerged. Chapter 1086. News of Qing Shui. This youth was Wang Lin, who left the Demon Spirit Land 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Wang Lin was seriously injured at the Demon Spirit Land. His body was seriously damaged, and his origin soul was on the verge of collapse. Also, due to Mu Bingmei's words, the pain in his heart had caused his injuries to explode, and he passed out. When he woke up, he was sitting on this white stone. The old man behind him was the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. In these 2 years, Wang Lin's avatar and original body had separated. His original body sank deep into the Vermilion Bird Divine Planet, and his avatar was here healing. In their 2 years of time, Wang Lin's fire origin energy had increased by leaps and bounds. When he was in the Demon Spirit Land, He had already felt he was close to the Nirvana cleanser stage, but he still needed a breakthrough in his domain to break through. This breakthrough couldn't be forced, and the more impatient one was, the more difficult it became. In the last 2 years, Wang Lin continued to comprehend while he absorbed fire origin energy. His origin energy was almost at a peak. The power of the Vermilion Bird 9 mysterious transformation increased several-fold with each transformation. However, this spell is very difficult to cultivate, and very few Vermilion Bird Divine Emperors were able to cultivate it to the peak. Behind Wang Lin, the old man raised his right hand and pointed at Wang Lin's back. A surge of origin energy immediately entered Wang Lin's body from the old man. With your current cultivation level, along with your 2 awakenings, the appearance of the white vermilion bird, and the vermilion bird flame armor, you should be able to cultivate the first transformation. All the flames around Wang Lin suddenly spread outwards. Then waves of popping sounds appeared and echoed across the surrounding. It was like roaring thunder that echoed across the starfield. On one of the vermilion bird divine planets, there was a sky-piercing mountain. This mountain was covered in flames and was constantly burning. Strangely, there was vegetation on this mountain. Although they weren't green, purplish-red trees covered the mountain. A gentle breeze containing a heat wave blew by, causing the leaves to rustle. Combined with the roaring thunder, there was a certain charm to it. There was a person sitting at the top of the mountain. This person's head was very large, and his body was rather small. His eyes were closed as he cultivated. When the roaring thunder passed by, he opened his eyes and looked up at the sky. His eyes were very calm. Master S cultivation level is still increasing. I must quickly adapt to this new body as soon as possible. He was Big Head. Big Head's body had collapsed at the demon spirit land. After coming to the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, he got some help from the Nirvana Shatterer Elders. Using fire as flesh, using the wood as bone, and origin energy as blood, they helped him reform a body that was exactly the same as before. Big Head had to continue to refine this body and familiarize himself with it. Then he would be able to use even more powerful spells than before. Big Head wasn't the only one here. Lei Ji was sitting in a cave in the distance, and hot sweat covered his body. There were some red jade bottles before him, providing him with pills for him to absorb. The roaring thunder above the sky faded and traveled further away through the burning starfield. Within the starfield there was an irregularly shaped planet, and a storm was making its way across a red desert on the planet. This storm rose into the sky, and it picked up a large amount of sand on the way. As the grains of sand collided, countless sparks flew everywhere, and the storm itself contained very high heat. Even the wind created by this storm was like heat waves. The moment the roaring thunder passed by, the storm suddenly paused, revealing the vortex within. There was a person cultivating deep within the vortex. This person's body was very large, as if he was almost a mountain of flesh. Right now he was covered in sweat, but the mountain of flesh didn't seem to be decreasing in size at all. After wiping off the sweat on his face, the old man looked up at the sky with a bitter smile and shook his head. Since encountering this Wang Lin, this old man has been plagued with bad luck. I was even seriously injured in the demon spirit land. Alas, fortunately, this Wang Lin isn't a grackless person. Being in the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect is a lot safer than outside. Wang Lin's seal was released 2 years ago, but after the battle at the demon spirit land, even without the seal, I won't dare to mess with Wang Lin. His spells are too terrifying. When Master Hollow Wind thought of the spells Wang Lin had used in the demon spirit land, he felt fear. Just Sundered Night was enough to cause him great fear, so there was no need to talk about Dream of Ancient Times. Thinking about the giant fist descending from the sky, the fear within Master Hollow Wind became even stronger. The roaring thunder continued to spread. There was a small planet around the outer rim of the burning starfield. The flames on the planet formed a formation. The formation created a monstrous fire like someone had lit a giant bonfire. A man was sitting in the center of the formation. This man's face gave off a hint of evil and boundless arrogance. While he cultivated, his body emanated an evil aura. There was a giant piece of ice floating above his head at the center of the formation. The flames from the formation would enter the ice, and after being transformed, the man below would absorb them. As he absorbed, his injuries gradually healed and he became even more powerful. Most importantly, the poison in his body was completely suppressed by the fire and ice. When the roaring thunder passed by through the sky, the man opened his eyes, and a large amount of sweat flowed down his forehead. Although the ice was there, the heat here made him sweat constantly. "I can't stand it anymore." The man let out a roar as he jumped into the air and hugged the ice. His body trembled and he revealed a comfortable expression. However, before he could be comfortable for long, a cold snort came from the distance. "If you don't want to die from poison, then come down for this old man. This damn place of yours is too hot. If not for my brother, I would be long gone." The man hugged the ice even tighter, absorbing large amounts of cold energy. Just at this moment, a ray of red light came from afar. When the light got close, it turned into one of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect's Nirvana Shatterer elders. When he arrived, he frowned and his right hand slapped the void. With a thud, the man was separated from the ice and fell on the ground. "Little boy Situ, this old man was ordered by the Divine Emperor to release the toxin in your body, so you need to listen to my order. Otherwise, Don T blamed this old man for teaching you a lesson." This man was Situ Nan. He was seriously injured in the demon spirit land, and his poison erupted as a result. If not for the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, it would have been impossible for him to last 2 years. However, these 2 years were extremely painful for him. One of the roots of his pain was this extremely hateful elder. No matter how much Situ Nan tried to talk to the old man, it was no use. The old man seemed to have steeled his heart and was always within 1,000 feet of Situ Nan. Whenever Situ Nan became distracted, a spell would be shot at him. What's so great about Nirvana Shatterer cultivators? Damn it, just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll let you have a taste of what it feels like to be steamed. Situ Nan got up and unwillingly continued to cultivate. The old man smiled. In these 2 years, he had a very good opinion about this little boy Situ. Stopping Situ from absorbing the ice was for Situ's own good. He had always used the right amount of power to never hurt Situ. He smiled and said, "Good, this old man will wait for that day to arrive." "Just you wait." Situ Nan rolled his eyes. In truth, he knew in his heart that this old man was doing it for his own good, but the heat was unbearable at times. More importantly, his freedom was limited in these past 2 years. Whenever he thought about his king-like lifestyle from before, he couldn't help but sign. Little wrenches of planet Feng Luan. Just wait for this old man to return. The roaring thunder passed through the sky and gradually disappeared. Wang Lin took a deep breath. As he did so, his hand formed a seal, then waved his hand. Even more heat came from the white stone below him and entered his body. The old man behind Wang Lin became even more pale and the death aura around him became even stronger. He said with a hoarse voice, "I'm afraid I won't be able to last much longer. I hope that you are able to successfully cultivate the first transformation before I die. Then I can rest assured when passing the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect to you. Only after mastering the first transformation can you control the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect's holy treasure." Wang Lin's hand returned to where it was while he sat there. The hot energy moved through the meridians in his body. He then let out a mouthful of hot air and opened his eyes. It was impossible to describe what kind of eyes they were. They could only be described as the starry sky that contained everything in the world. They were bright enough to make anyone who met his gaze lower their head. These eyes were filled with wisdom. Wang Lin calmly said, "Divine Emperor can rest assured. I'll do my best. You once said that you suspect that the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor is trapped inside the Rain Celestial Realm. This matter is very big, but the opening of the Rain Celestial Realm is controlled by the Cultivation Alliance. Without the Rain Celestial Realm crystal, it is impossible to open. With my 4 Divine Sect's present strength, we still can contend with the Cultivation Alliance. I'll find a way to get the Rain Celestial Realm crystal, but I'll leave it to you to rescue the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor." The old man's voice was filled with fatigue. Surviving for this long had caused him to be both physically and mentally exhausted. But he couldn't just leave the 4 Divine Sect, so he held on for as long. He had to endure the endless pain from his 3rd Heaven's blight every single day. Wang Lin pondered a bit, and before he returned to his cultivation, he softly asked, "Is there any news of my senior brother Qing Shui?" This old man has long since heard of Celestial Lord Qing Shui's name. "My 4 Divine Sect has used all our power to search for him, and only found that his last appearance was around the central part of the Alliance star system, so within the area of the Alliance headquarters." After pondering for a bit, the old man said, I suspect the Alliance headquarters being sealed off for 2 years has a lot to do with Qing Shui. Leo has caught a cold, his nose running like a leaky faucet, making it unlikely he'll make it home tomorrow. Trying hard to ensure a new update, but lacking the energy, longing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1087. First Transformation of the 9 Mysterious Transformations. Wang Lin silently pondered and was very worried. No one could stop what Qing Shui was going to do. He let out a sigh before closing his eyes and becoming immersed in cultivation. I know about your relationship with Qing Shui. After you master the first transformation, when I go take the Rain Celestial Realm Crystal, I may find some news of Qing Shui. The old man looked at Wang Lin with a kind gaze. This junior was his hope, the hope of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. For this child, he was willing to do whatever it took. During the moment of crisis at the Demon Spirit Land, he didn't forget his friends. Now that he is safe, he still didn't forget about Qing Shui. This is enough to put my mind at ease when I leave the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect to him and impart all my spells. The old man secretly nodded as he raised his right hand and pointed at Wang Lin's back. His origin energy poured unceasingly into Wang Lin. This origin energy surrounded Wang Lin's origin soul and entered the fire seed within. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, another year passed. During this year, the situation in the Alliance didn't change much. There was still strife and war. The eastern region of the 4 Divine Sect didn't get too involved in this. However, due to the Alliance headquarters kill order on Wang Lin, there were many who were bold enough to enter the 4 Divine Sect. However, these people weren't able to set off much of a wave, and were killed by the guards of the 4 Divine Sect. Even those with powerful cultivation that managed to avoid the guards were wiped out by the 4 Divine Sect's elders once they entered deeper. The war between Heaven and the Alliance continued, and the Corpse Sect remained relatively calm. However, there were always people of the Corpse Sect on the battlefield. They appeared to collect the damaged and intact bodies. On the other hand, they began contacting both sides and started their original business of selling bodies. The continuation of the war caused everyone to welcome the Corpse Sect. Large amounts of bodies were sold to both Heaven and Alliance forces by the Corpse Sect. Similarly, celestial jades, treasures, materials, and all things used to exchange for bodies flooded into the Corpse Sect. Only the Brilliant Void Realm and the 4 Divine Sect were at peace, as if they were cut off from the rest of the world. During this year of time, Wang Lin's cultivation level was advancing faster and faster. The roaring thunder from his body came out more often and echoed across the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Although not everyone had seen him, they all knew about him. All the clan members knew that this Wang Lin, who was releasing this roaring thunder, was their future divine emperor, the hope of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. However, as long as there are people, there will be disputes and fights for power. The Vermilion Bird Divine Sect was the same. Not everyone recognized Wang Lin. As a matter of fact, a lot of people who rejected Wang Lin appeared. In particular, there were 3 that were selected from a large amount of people who were being raised to become the next divine emperor. Their hearts were filled with unwillingness. There were even some older cultivators that were dissatisfied with the Divine Emperor's arrangement. However, the Divine Emperor's might was too great, so these people didn't dare to disobey. For 3 years of time, over 1,000 days and nights, Wang Lin never stopped cultivating. The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor never stopped giving Wang Lin his own fire origin energy, and there was also the heat within the stone the 2 of them were on. This caused Wang Lin's cultivation to become even more refined. His origin soul had already recovered. The fire seed within him had absorbed all this fire and seemed ready to melt. It released a powerful wave of fire origin energy across Wang Lin's body, and 7 fire tattoos flickered on Wang Lin's right arm. The movement of this powerful origin energy was the source of the roaring thunder coming from his body. On this day, the fire origin energy inside Wang Lin reached a limit. If he absorbed any more, he would explode. The feeling of tearing filled his entire body. At this moment, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. His hands quickly formed seals and pointed all over his body. Whenever his fingers landed, the powerful origin energy in his body would dissipate a little. He pointed at himself 7 times in a row. The origin energy that was about to explode inside Wang Lin subsided, and the pain disappeared along with it. However, he was soaked in sweat that quickly turned into white gas and rose into the air. Wang Lin let out a long breath and slowly said, "This is the 8th time." During these 3 years, Wang Lin had experienced that 8 times. Each time the origin energy in his body reached a peak and he was ready to explode, he would quickly compress the fire origin energy, allowing him to bear even more. The initial 4 times, the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor helped Wang Lin seal the origin energy. The remaining times were all done by Wang Lin himself. The moment his origin energy was suppressed, an extra fire tattoo appeared next to the 7 that were already on his right arm. The 8 tattoos formed a circle. He only needed 1 more to complete this circle. The first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations is 9 lifetimes of cultivation. It requires you to continue to absorb fire origin energy until 9 fire tattoos have formed. These 9 fire tattoos represent 9 lifetimes of cultivation. You borrow the power of these 9 lifetimes of cultivation to reverse the heavens and then absorb all that power back into one to complete the first transformation. The transformation 1T change you, it'll make you stronger. It will allow you to explode with extreme power once you complete the transformation. Only when you do this will I feel at ease enough to allow you to become the Divine Emperor and take my trip to the Cultivation Alliance. The old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's voice came from behind Wang Lin. However, this old man doesn't have much time left. I feel the shadow of death closing in. I must accelerate your 9th absorption. This process will be very painful, but you must bear it. Do you agree? Wang Lin silently pondered. After a long time, he nodded and revealed a determined gaze. Good. The admiration in the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor became even stronger, but soon there was regret. He softly said, "If only my avatar had gifted you the Vermilion Bird mark back then, and your Vermilion Bird awakening had been a bit earlier, alas." The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor shook his head and didn't say more. He took a deep breath and then his hand hit the stone below them. With a thud, his whole body flew into the air and he hung upside with his head lined up with Wang Lin's head. Then both his hands formed a seal and suddenly moved. In an instant, the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's fire origin energy rushed into Wang Lin's body through his head like crazy. At the same time, the white stone released large amounts of heat that surged into Wang Lin as well. As a result, the amount of origin energy inside Wang Lin's body increased rapidly. However, the pain that came with an origin energy being forced in like this was not something ordinary people could withstand. Even Wang Lin immediately released a large amount of white gas from his body, and this white gas was formed from his sweat. As the origin energy rushed in, the pain of his body being torn apart made Wang Lin's face become twisted. He let out a roar and felt as if he was bitterly struggling inside a raging storm. Time passed by and Wang Lin's roar became even louder. The veins on his body swelled up like they were ready to burst. The origin energy inside his body became more violent, and the rumbling from inside his body seemed to fuse with this roar. At this moment, everyone inside the burning starfield could hear this painful roar. Wang Lin couldn't escape from this pain, or cut off his feeling of pain. He had to constantly control the swelling origin energy inside his body to continue to cycle, otherwise, his body would immediately explode. The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor only did this because he was helpless. He could clearly feel death closing in on him. He knew that he only had about 3 months of life left. In 3 months, the third heaven's blight would erupt and he would without a doubt die. This intense pain made Wang Lin's roar heaven-shattering. On the 7th day, the origin energy in Wang Lin's body reached a peak once more. The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor looked even older and death aura filled his body as he fell behind Wang Lin. What does death count as? The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's face was ashen, but his eyes were filled with anticipation as he looked at Wang Lin. He wasn't afraid of death. He was afraid of dying for no reason. He was afraid that the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect would have no successor, and he feared the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect would die. He would have failed his ancestors, failed the entire Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. It must succeed. At this moment, Wang Lin was all of his hope and something that could allow him to laugh merrily even in death. Wang Lin let out an angry roar, and the origin energy inside his body erupted. The thunderous rumble echoed, and the powerful origin energy caused Wang Lin unimaginable pain. He raised his right hand to his chest, and was about to seal the origin energy. The vermilion bird divine emperor revealed a trace of disappointment, but he didn't stop Wang Lin. He knew that not many people could endure the pain and borrow this force to directly attempt the first transformation, even though the success rate would be higher and the time it took would be greatly reduced. Perhaps my requirement for him was a bit too high after all. He is only a child that has cultivated for a little more than 1,000 years, if anything is to blame. It is that I don't have much time left. The vermilion bird divine emperor's eyes became bleak as he let out a sigh and closed his eyes. However, the moment he closed his eyes, Wang Lin's right hand stopped. His eyes became firm and resolute determination. Eighth fire tattoo, open! Wang Lin struggled to let out a roar. The eighth fire tattoo on his right hand began to burn and flew up. It was like a blooming fire flower had appeared in this burning starfield. Wang Lin's body jumped into the air, and along with an earth-shattering roar, the burning flower shot toward him. It entered his body like crazy and seemed to move all the fire within the star system. At this moment, the burning starfield the vermilion bird divine sect was in began to churn. At this moment, all creatures within this burning starfield were shaken and looked up. The first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations. The shock on the faces of the vermilion bird divine sect elders was greater than when they found out about the vermilion bird awakening. Vermilion bird awaken doesn't mean that that person will be the next divine emperor, but the first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformation means that person will be the next divine emperor. It was the symbol, the title of divine emperor being passed down to the next generation. Leo has a cold, with a sore throat and a bit of dizziness, not daring to promise if there will be a third watch today, doing his utmost to get through. Chapter 1088. New Divine Emperor. 1. Wang Lin floated among the stars and was surrounded by flames. The heat wave from the flames spread across the entire starfield and shrouded the vermilion bird divine sect. On his right arm there were now only 7 fire tattoos. The fire flower that just bloomed was outside his body, and dense fire origin energy entered his body. The unimaginable fire origin energy swept through his body like a storm. The popping sounds from inside his body echoed across the heavens. Everyone within this burning starfield could clearly hear it. The intense pain was tearing him apart. His body was like a bottle that needed to withstand 9 times its normal capacity, so one could imagine the pain. The vermilion bird 9 mysterious transformations was completed by borrowing 9 lifetimes of cultivation and continuously compressing it until it forces the awakener through the first vermilion bird. Transformation. The intense pain caused the veins on his face to bulge. Just 2 times the origin energy almost made him feel like his meridians were going to burst. However, Wang Lin wasn't willing to just give up like this. He clenched his teeth while disregarding the large amount of sweat all over his body and lifted his left hand. He once again pointed to a tattoo on his right arm. The 7th fire tattoo immediately began to burn and then flew off Wang Lin's body and turned into another blooming fire flower. At the same time, the popping sounds from within Wang Lin's body reached a peak. The thunderous rumbles from his body spread like crazy. A mist of blood spray out of Wang Lin's pores and surrounded him. However, the moment the blood mist appeared, it was evaporated by the heat and dissipated as gas. 3 lifetimes of origin energy entered his body, and the feeling that his body was going to explode became even stronger. Wang Lin's body trembled as he let out a roar at the sky. Roar! As he roared, a crimson glow appeared around him, and the crimson armor appeared around his body. The moment the armor appeared, the unimaginable origin energy in Wang Lin's body seemed to have found a place to go and entered the armor. This caused the crimson armor to glow even brighter. The vermilion bird divine emperor stared at Wang Lin with anticipation and tension. His right hand was lifted in the air. If Wang Lin couldn't bear it, he would immediately act. Although this would make him disappointed, this clan member who had awakened twice was more important than the first transformation. I am too impatient. His talent is ordinary, so forcing him like this might be harming him, alas. He had already made up his mind. The moment Wang Lin showed he couldn't handle it, he would immediately help. The appearance of the vermilion bird armor relieved the pain in Wang Lin's body. He let out a deep breath as he lifted his left hand and pointed on the 6th tattoo on his right arm. After that, a surge of fire origin energy rushed out. Since I must endure this pain no matter what, then Wang Lin's eyes revealed a ruthless expression. His left hand didn't T-stop after activating the 6th tattoo, and it pointed 3 times. The 5th tattoo, the 4th tattoo, the 3rd tattoo. He opened 4 tattoos almost at the same time. At this moment, 4 times his origin energy rushed out and caused a heaven-shattering rumble that echoed across the star field. Wang Lin's crazed action caused the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor's pupils to shrink. He could see that Wang Lin had a very ruthless defiance in his bones. This person has only cultivated for just over 1,000 years, and yet was able to reach this cultivation level. Awakening twice was no accident. His ruthlessness and defiance are key to all of this. 4 times his origin energy capacity, in addition to the origin energy in his body and armor, meant that there was now 7 times as much origin energy rushing in his body. With a bang, Wang Lin coughed out blood and immediately raised his right hand to point to between his eyebrows. A white vermilion bird immediately appeared between his eyebrows. The large amount of origin energy immediately surged into the vermilion bird, causing it to grow until it covered the sky. This vermilion bird was caught by the ulcer, but since the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor arrived, how could he let the ulcer take the vermilion bird spirit away? When the vermilion bird appeared, Wang Lin endured the intense pain in his body and let out a roar as he raised his left hand to point at one of the last 2 remaining fire tattoos. In an instant, this fire tattoo turned into origin energy and rapidly entered his body. At this moment, Wang Lin felt like his entire body was burning. It was as if he was being refined inside a naturally formed heavenly furnace. Wang Lin didn't know that the people of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect were all watching the rise of a new divine emperor with their divine senses through a special method. There were also familiar people watching as well. Lei Ji and Big Head were on a mountain peak. They stopped cultivating and both looked up at the sky. The two could vaguely feel that Wang Lin was like a phoenix that was about to awaken and was suffering divine retribution. Master. In the desert, the storm disappeared and Master Hollow Wind looked up at the sky and muttered, "What powerful origin energy. Could it be that he is now reaping the reward of his 3 years of cultivation?" On another cultivation planet, Situnan stopped cultivating and looked at the sky with shining eyes with a hint of tension. The Vermilion Bird Elder beside him didn't rush Situnan to cultivate. He also looked at the sky with a hint of anticipation and excitement. At this moment, even his old heart couldn't help but feel various emotions. There were 2 more people Wang Lin was familiar with on the planet Situnan was on. One of them was located on the northwest side of the planet. There was a sea of flowers there. Flowers that could survive in this extreme heat were rare, but they were not impossible to find. At this moment, there was a woman sitting inside this sea of red flowers. This woman wasn't the flower imperial concubine, but the woman in silver. At this moment, she looked up at the sky with a strange light in her eyes. In these 3 years of time, she vaguely seemed to remember something. The other person on this planet was in an old swamp. His upper body was filled with countless tattoos, and surrounding him were some fierce beasts that lived in this hot environment. However, these fierce beasts were all dead, and the skin between their eyebrows was removed. This person was Tashan. He bit his fingertip and started drawing on one of the animal skins, but at this moment, he raised his head and his finger paused. "Master, are you about to complete your closed-door cultivation?" On a planet near the edge of this burning star field, there was a black stone statue at the top of the tallest mountain peak. This was a statue of Wang Lin, and before it sat a youth. During these 3 years, this youth sat there protecting the statue for more than 1,000 days. At this moment, he looked up at the sky and listened to the thunderous rumble. There was a hint of excitement on his face. "Teacher, it was 13. On the planet where the soul refining sect was, there was an old man sitting on the city wall of a Vermilion Bird Divine Sect city. He held a wine jug in his and then drank with a bitter expression. He had been like this for the past 3 years. The thunderous rumble and the crimson-red light spreading across the sky caused him to raise his head. But after taking a look, he lowered his head and continued to drink. "Second brother, third brother, eldest brother has wronged you both." 2 streams of tears fell down from his eyes. Then he drank all the wine in the jug. "Ling Air, bring me some more wine." The old man threw the wine jug down the city wall. Behind him stood a very beautiful girl, and she bit her lower lip. When she arrived here, Master Yi Chen was already like this. Her heart felt sour as she silently turned away. "I am sorry, second brother. Third brother," the old man's painful voice continued to enter her ears. There was another place inside this burning star field. Although it was also filled heat, there seemed to be an invisible cyclone causing the flames to rotate. Big Devil Wang Lin, you heartless murderer. I have no enmity with you, so why did you trap me here to suffer in this fire poison? Lord Wang, please have mercy on little Shu. This place is too painful. Fiend Wang, if you force your grandpa Shu into a corner, I'll fight with my life on the line. The miserable cursing and begging never stopped within these 3 years. Sometimes there would even be miserable screams. This made it so whenever a Vermilion Bird Divine Sect disciple passed by, they would take a detour because they found this noise annoying. At the center of the cyclone sat a person. He was surrounded by flames and had to constantly use spells to resist them. If he was careless for a moment, he would be burned by the flames. This person was Shu Liguo. Right now he was in a sorry state, but his eyes were several times brighter than before. He had been surrounded by flames through these 3 years, which forced him to absorb the ancient sword inheritance in order to survive. Shu Liguo would often sweep once, and the flames before him would dissipate a bit. After that, curses would immediately come out of his mouth. During these 3 years, it had almost become a habit. Little boy Wang Lin, if your grandpa Shu makes it out, I'll never let you go for doing this. Just as he said this, his body trembled and he looked into the distance with fear in his eyes. Damn man, is that murderous Wang Lin about to come out of closed-door cultivation? Heavens have mercy. Make sure he can come out. Can come out? Wrong if he can come out. How will I get out? It's better for him to come out. Come out. Leo goes to the hospital with his wife, then directly to pick up his daughter from school, continuing the storytelling upon return. Chapter 1089. New Divine Emperor. 2. Wang Lin's painful roar echoed across the burning starfield. Opening one of the 2 remaining fire tattoos caused origin energy to rush into his body, making it even more painful. At this moment, Wang Lin wore crimson armor, and a large white vermilion bird circled him, absorbing the origin energy in his body. Nevertheless, 8 times his body's origin energy was still something Wang Lin felt was unbearable. The pain of tearing became even more intense, but the pain didn't make Wang Lin yield. Instead, it aroused his defying nature. He laughed with a painful expression, and this ferocious-looking laughter contained a hint of madness. This is merely the first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations. I, Wang Lin, will definitely succeed. With a roar, Wang Lin's left hand mercilessly pressed down on the last fire tattoo on his right arm. The last fire tattoo suddenly released all the origin energy it contained. At this moment, Wang Lin was surrounded by a ball of fire. Even his body couldn't withstand this intense heat, and it began burning. You have reached your limit. This old man knows you did your best. The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor let out a sigh and raised his right hand to point at Wang Lin. He understood that the force required to awaken the first transformation was something Wang Lin couldn't bear. Wang Lin was barely able to withstand 8 times the origin energy, and now that he was at 9 times, it was likely that he would be burned to death before he succeeded. Just as the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor was about to stop Wang Lin suddenly turned around. Ignoring the fact that he was burning, he stared at the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, and his hoarse voice penetrated the flames. I am still not at my limit. You, the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, stared at Wang Lin's eyes. Wang Lin's eyes were almost filled with madness, unwillingness, unyieldingness, and the courage to defy the heavens. Just like a peerless, vicious devil that was sealed by the heavens within the depths of hell. No matter how much time passed, it would never yield. At this moment, the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor understood that Wang Lin's Tao was the Tao of defiance. Defying cultivation to form Tao. Defying Tao to form my own heaven. Defying heaven to change fate. The burning of his body didn't make him stop struggling. He pointed to between his eyebrows, and his origin soul shot up toward his eyebrows. A vortex appeared between his eyebrows, and then his ancient thunder dragon origin soul flew out. His origin soul charged out from between his eyebrows and let out a heaven-shaking roar. Roar! The ancient thunder dragon used its power to control thunder, and thunder began to appear within this burning starfield. Soon, thunder filled the starry sky. At this moment, all of the cultivators within the starfield felt this intense thunder. Soon, the sound of thunder replaced all other sounds within the starfield. Bolts of thunder appeared and moved like dancing snakes. They gathered like crazy toward Wang Lin. The thunder moved so fast that all the cultivators could only see bolts of thunder fill the sky. If one looked down from above, they would see endless thunder move like waves toward Wang Lin. It looked like a thunderstorm was sweeping across the entire starfield. Wang Lin's body was burning deep within the center of this thunderstorm. Bolts of thunder rushed into his body and he was surrounded by fire and thunder. At this instant, the white vermilion bird charged at Wang Lin and fused with his body. It then turned into a tattoo on his armor, and the origin energy inside the vermilion bird rushed into Wang Lin's body. At the same time, the origin energy that his armor had absorbed also rushed back into Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's body now contained 9 lifetimes of origin energy. It was all the origin energy he had compressed in his body during the last 3 years. Wang Lin suddenly became a fire person, and dense flames gathered before him and formed a vortex. At the same time, all the flames within the starfield seemed to be affected. They all began gathering toward him exactly like the thunder. The flames that had existed forever and would never extinguish moved, causing a shocking change in the starfield. The flames moved along with the vortex, creating a mixture of red and silver as if fire and thunder had fused. The flames in the burning starfield that covered 30% of the Alliance's eastern region erupted. The flames began penetrating toward the surrounding starfields. In the Azure Dragon Divine Sect, a group of ferocious beast-like mosquitoes were buzzing while moving between giant trees. Leading the pack was a purple mosquito beast that was the size of a small mountain. This mosquito suddenly looked at the distant vermilion bird divine sect, and its cold eyes filled with excitement. Not only him, but almost all the members of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect became aware of the changes in the vermilion bird divine sect. In the center of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect, there was a green planet that had a heaven-piercing tree with 3 elders sitting on it. At this instant, all 3 elders opened their eyes at the same time. The Vermilion Bird Divine Sect's new Divine Emperor is about to be born. The 3 looked at each other with excitement in their eyes. They immediately rushed toward the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. The scene caused a huge wave in the Black Tortoise Divine Sect as well. In the swamp of the Black Tortoise Divine Sect sat a large toad. This toad was very lazy, and sometimes its tongue would lash out to grab a small beast that passed by. However, just at this moment, the toad's lazy eyes suddenly opened and thunder flashed out from his body. This caused everything within 1,000 feet of it to become a thunder hell. It then raised his head and looked at the direction of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Just like the mosquito beast, there was excitement in its eyes. At the same time, within the Black Tortoise Divine Sect, several elders flew into the air. They were heading toward the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. The birth of a new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor is a very important matter for our 4 Divine Sect. The elders flew very quickly and turned into rays of light. Several figures with smiles flew into the stars from the White Tiger Divine Sect. The entire Vermilion Bird Divine Sect seemed to be boiling when countless people rushed out of their planets and into the stars. Most of them were very excited, but some of them had gloomy and uncertain expressions. Among them were the 3 who were training to be the next Divine Emperor. There were 2 males and 1 female. There was no need to speak of their appearance, and they were all between the Nirvana Scryer and Nirvana Cleanser stages. Most notable was the one named Ren Tao, who was already at the early stage of Nirvana Cleanser. Behind him were 4 elders who all stared gloomily at the sky. Ren Tao's expression was as gloomy as water. He could clearly feel the fire within the starfield going toward the depths of the starfield. First transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations. So what? Liao Yun, Fang Shan, have the 2 of you made up your minds? The other 2 future Divine Emperor candidates silently pondered. Senior Brother Ren, I participated in the battle at the Demon Spirit Land 3 years ago. This Wang Lin is someone I'll not provoke. Liao Yun raised his head, and his gaze was firm. He looked at Ren Tao with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Liao Yun was originally an arrogant person, and he had very good talent. Within the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, his prestige was second only to Ren Tao's. At first he was very unconvinced about Wang Lin, but after the battle at the Demon Spirit Land 3 years ago, every time he thought about Wang Lin, he would get soaked in cold sweat. He had gone from unconvinced about Wang Lin to excessively fearful in an instant. During these 3 years, he slowly learned about Wang Lin from Big Head and even felt respect toward Wang Lin. In his view, Ren Tao's plan was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Ren Tao W.S. overestimating himself. The only female among the three, Feng Shan, pondered a bit and shook her head. She softly said, "If he completes the transformation, then I'll respect him as the Divine Emperor. If he fails, then I'll listen to senior brother." Ren Tao's eyes became gloomy and he was about to speak, but just at this moment, the fire became even more intense. Then an even louder rumble echoed and the fire fused with the thunder. Their speed increased several fold. Endless flames gathered within the depths of the starfield and continued to enter his body along with the thunder. By himself, he attracted all the fire and thunder within the star system. The vermilion bird Divine Emperor revealed a rare trace of excitement. He looked at Wang Lin with a hint of gratification. As endless flames came in, Wang Lin closed his eyes. He then raised his right hand and pointed at his chest. "Seal 1! Thunder rumbles echoed, and as Wang Lin pointed, the surrounding flames gathered even faster. As he pointed at his chest, an illusory figure appeared behind Wang Lin. This illusion was unexpectedly exactly same as Wang Lin, only it was formed completely by fire. The moment this illusion appeared, the flames within the starfield seemed to surrender and bowed. Wang Lin's right hand didn't stop. It continued to point at his body. "Seal 2, Seal 3. In almost an instant, Wang Lin pointed 9 times. Every time he pointed, the flames would surge into his body faster, and the illusion behind him would become a bit more clear. Finally, Wang Lin shouted, 9 seals to complete the mystery, first transformation." The illusion behind him suddenly became clear, and it was another Wang Lin. This wasn't an avatar, but the spirit formed by the first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations. The spirit fused with Wang Lin, and fused with the fire seed in Wang Lin's origin soul. Another origin soul appeared within Wang Lin. Time seemed to last forever before Wang Lin opened his eyes and a hot gaze shot out. All the surrounding flames seemed to dance as if they were welcoming him. This gaze also contained extremely powerful thunder. Wherever Wang Lin looked, there would be rumbles of thunder and monstrous flames. They had fused together perfectly. Divine Emperor! Divine Emperor! The special feeling that the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect members had when a new Divine Emperor appeared caused all of them to cry in joy. Only Ren Tao suppressed the sense of panic in his heart, and his expression became even more gloomy. It was at this moment that the Alliance, Al-Heaven, the Corpse Sect, and the various forces formed by the remnants of the Alliance were all alerted. Leo steps out without his laptop charger. The computer has no power, so he reads the chapters using his phone, typing manually. Tears are flowing. Chapter 1090, Reappearance of Moji. Since the founding of the 4 Divine Sect, the appearance of a new Divine Emperor would always cause an uproar. The history of the 4 Divine Sect was very long. It existed before the Celestial Realm collapsed. Although the Celestial Realm was the king, during the peak of the 4 Divine Sect, with all 4 Divine Emperors around, even the reigning Celestial Realm had to give them respect. Anytime a new Divine Emperor appeared, the Celestial Realm would send congratulatory gifts. At that time there was no Cultivation Alliance, only the Brilliant Void Realm. To be more accurate, the Brilliant Void Realm was a subordinate of the Celestial Realm. They were in charge of all the lower realm cultivators. However, due to the strength of the 4 Divine Sect and other special reasons, the Celestial Realm allowed both the 4 Divine Sect and the Brilliant Void Realm to exist at the same time. The appearance of a new Divine Emperor was enough to cause a huge stir in origin energy. For powerful cultivators, it was something they could easily feel. At this moment, when Wang Lin completed the first transformation, the origin energy across the entire Alliance star system began to ripple with the Vermilion Bird Sect as the center. All heaven had occupied the western and northern regions of the Alliance star system. Messengers of the Thunder Celestial Temple was everywhere. After successfully annexing the 2 regions, the Thunder Celestial Temple now ruled supreme here. Black palaces like small hills floated among the stars, slowly moving forward. There were large amounts of Al-Heaven cultivators around Reach Palace. There were at least 100 palaces, forming a large army. They were moving toward the various forces of the Alliance in the central region. Although there were a lot of cultivators, there was no sound, only the sounds of flying's word. After years of fighting, the Al-Heaven cultivators had changed as well. Their immaturity was gone and was replaced with a fierce killing aura. At this moment, the fluctuations of origin energy spread out and passed by them. However, with these cultivators' cultivation levels, it was very difficult for them to notice the subtle changes in origin energy. However, inside the palace near the back, one that was almost 10 times the size of the other palaces, Master Flamespark suddenly opened his eyes when he was in closed-door cultivation. When he opened his eyes, the other 10 elders within the palace also opened their eyes, and their eyes shined. One of the elders slowly said, "This fluctuation of origin energy came from the eastern part of the alliance. Could it be that some powerful treasure has appeared in the eastern region of the alliance?" Master Flamespark pondered and shook his head. This fluctuation is indeed the birth of a powerful treasure. The eastern region belongs to the 4 divine sect. Could it be that a new divine emperor has appeared? Master Flamespark's eyes lit up. He still wasn't quite sure. After all, he had left the alliance long ago. 4 divine sect? If the cultivation alliance isn't a match for us, such a small sect would simply collapse under the pressure of my Alheaven army. A red-haired old man inside the palace revealed a look of disdain and pride. Master Flamespark looked at the red-haired old man and said, "The 4 divine sect is definitely not what you think. This fluctuation of origin energy is likely the birth of a new divine emperor." I just dawned to know which. He didn't know why a sense of unease had come with the fluctuation of origin energy. This feeling was very mysterious but very clear. Another person felt this fluctuation, an old man in black clothes. He had just stepped out from the tunnel that connected Alheaven to the western region of the alliance. He immediately raised his head and looked into the distance. His gaze seemed to be able to penetrate across the star system, and his eyes lit up. The 4 divine sect's new divine emperor. This fluctuation contains a trace of fire origin energy, so it should be the new vermilion bird divine emperor. In that case, this play has become more interesting. Master Everlasting. There's no way you want to show up when the alliance falls into chaos. In the southern part of the alliance, within depths of the corpse sect, there was a large black coffin. There were chains around it that formed an octagon and connected it to another coffin. A large amount of coffins filled this area and formed a web-like structure. There were cultivation planets that were moved here through some unknown spell. These planets revolved around these coffins. At this moment, the ripple of origin energy passed. A soft sound of surprise came from the coffin at the center. A new divine emperor has appeared within the 4 divine sect at this moment. Interesting. As his voice echoed, the sounds of nails scratching the lid of the coffins could be heard. This sound would make you feel like someone was tearing your heart apart. Cracks even appeared within the nearby space. The 4 major powers of the remaining alliance forces also felt this fluctuation. The most powerful of the 4 forces, the rank 8 cultivation country of Chu Yu, controlled dozens of planets and had them in a formation. The Chu Yun sect was on the main planet, and the Chu Yun sect was the overlord of the country of Chu Yun. In the Chu Yun sect's secret room sat an old man who looked very kind. At this moment, the origin energy rippled across. He opened his eyes, and after pondering for a long time, he softly said, "Moji." After he spoke, ripples appeared before the old man, and a bald young man in green stepped out. He clasped his hands at the old man and respectfully said, "Moji greets teacher." 1. A new divine emperor appeared in the 4 divine sect. Go take 4 top-rank 5 celestial pills, 100 ordinary celestial pills, celestial treasures 1,000, and also the spirit I refined 5 years ago as a gift. That spirit. Moji looked up at the old man before he stopped talking and nodded. That spirit is extremely valuable, but Chu Yun's gift must include it. Teacher has calculated that this divine emperor is an old friend of yours. Making a friend of this new divine emperor is very important to my country of Chu Yun. Old friend? Moji had very few friends, but he didn't ask more and left. At this moment, within the 4 divine sect, rays of light charged toward the vermilion bird divine sect. The flames within the vermilion bird divine sect were raging, and the shouts of divine emperor had reached a peak. Wang Lin let out a deep breath as he looked at the starry sky filled with fire and thunder. Not far behind him, the vermilion bird divine emperor was filled with excitement, and he laughed. Good, my vermilion bird divine sect has a new divine emperor. I can finally leave smiling. He raised his right hand and reached at the void. A crack appeared before him, and 3 rays of light flew out. Wang Lin, as the vermilion bird divine emperor, you need 3 things. First is the cloak of the vermilion bird divine emperor that has been passed down for generations. The old man waved his right hand, and a ray of light shot toward Wang Lin. The light turned into a white cloak before Wang Lin. There were 9 vermilion birds surrounding it, and it gave off a dignified aura. I took off this cloak during my 3rd heaven blight. I didn't think I would ever have the chance to wear it again today. I pass it on to you. The old divine emperor revealed a melancholy expression. Wang Lin touched the cloak with his right hand. The cloak turned into light and surrounded Wang Lin. When the light faded, Wang Lin was already wearing it. Wang Lin already had white hair and a crimson suit of armor. Now, with this cloak behind him, he gave off a strange aura. Wang Lin clearly felt a sense of age from this cloak, as if it had existed for an eternity already. The second thing is the identification of generations of vermilion bird divine emperors. The vermilion bird holy token. The old divine emperor waved his hand and the second ray of light shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin caught it, and the light turned into a flame-shaped token. It was only the size of his palm, but when he held it, Wang Lin could feel the powerful fire energy inside along with an ancient aura. The third thing is the most important thing of my vermilion bird divine sect, the holy treasure. The third ray of light fell in Wang Lin's hand and turned into a white stone. Observing the vermilion bird holy treasure closely, Wang Lin immediately saw countless runes flashing constantly on the white stone. Every time the runes flashed, the heat from the stone would increase. It felt as if these runes had not stopped flashing for countless years. Wang Lin's gaze became serious. A storm was set off in his mind. He took a deep breath and held onto the stone tightly. He felt a very vague aura on this stone, one that was similar to the heaven-defying bead. This aura was very light, but it truly existed. If he hadn't held it in his hand, he wouldn't have felt it. The blood of the holy treasure is still between Qing Lin's eyebrows. You can take it off at any time. The old divine emperor looked at Wang Lin with a hint of relief. These 3 things were passed down by the first vermilion bird divine emperor. Only each generation of divine emperor can pass it down to the next. You have to keep them safe. The old divine emperor struggled to get up. His body was already very weak, and just the mere act of standing up was painful for him. However, the excitement and relief in his eyes allowed him to forget all the pain. When he got up, the old divine emperor waved at Wang Lin. His face was filled with kindness. Wang Lin walked next to the old divine emperor while pondering. The old man looked at Wang Lin and placed a hand on Wang Lin's head as he softly said, "From today onward, you re the new divine emperor. Go and meet your clan members. I am going into the last cultivation in my life. Come back to see me in 7 days." Wang Lin looked at the old divine emperor. He opened his mouth to say something, but in the end he closed his mouth and nodded. He looked meaningfully at the old man before turning around and walking away. The red armor, white cloak, white hair, and white vermilion bird tattoo gave Wang Lin a very special temperament. He slowly disappeared into the distance. The old man closed his eyes and began to cultivate. 1. He is the bald man back on planet Suzaku who Wang Lin first met in a temple in a rainy night. Then later we found out that he was the Alliance's messenger watching over planet Suzaku inside the Suzaku tomb. Leo's speech is often puzzling. What with all the wishing for likes on the video and sharing Leo's work, leading the audience to erupt in laughter, the comments section filled with a lively atmosphere. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1091. Rise 3 Realm Flame Origin. Wang Lin's mood was a bit heavy. The old divine emperor's gaze reminded him of Dun Tian, and he let out a sigh. As Wang Lin moved forward, almost all the cultivators on the cultivation planets he passed by flew out. The shouts of divine emperor were heaven-shaking. These shouts conveyed the excitement and expectations all the vermilion bird divine sect members had been holding in for countless years. More and more cultivators followed Wang Lin. In particular, the juniors looked at Wang Lin with reverence in their eyes. As Wang Lin moved forward, more and more vermilion bird sect members followed. "Master!" An excited shout was mixed among the vermilion bird members, causing Wang Lin to pause for a moment. Lei Ji and Big Head quickly flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin revealed a smile and nodded at the two. As he moved forward, a joyous laugh echoed, and then Sichu Nan appeared. He hugged Wang Lin and smiled. "Good, brat, you finally came out?" Wang Lin's smile widened. Situnan's injuries had recovered and his cultivation was even stronger. Even his poison was suppressed. The woman in silver and Master Hollow Wind came after Situnan. The woman in silver silently followed behind Wang Lin. As for Master Hollow Wind, although he had a respectful expression, the joy in his eyes came from his heart. Finally, when Wang Lin arrived before the final Vermilion Bird Divine Sect planet, the amount of sect members was enough to cover the sky. Divine Emperor. The shocking roars that echoed replaced all other sounds in the starry sky. The final Vermilion Bird Divine Sect primary planet was also the planet Ren Tao was on. At this moment, he listened to the sect members cheering next to him, making his expression even more gloomy. He stared at Wang Lin with a vicious gaze. Next to him, Liao Yun looked at Ren Tao with a look of disdain. He flew into the air toward Wang Lin, who was surrounded by countless people, and respectfully said, "Liao Yun welcomes the Divine Emperor." He was filled with reverence. No one knew more about Wang Lin than the people who had gone to the demon spirit land, and he was one of them. Wang Lin's spell had made the people who were at the demon spirit land admire him completely. Feng Shan hesitated for a bit before also flying into the air and greeting Wang Lin with Liao Yun. A majority of the sect members on the planet excitedly welcomed Wang Lin. The gloomy expressions of Ren Tao, the few elders, and the other people loyal to him formed a stark contrast with everyone else. Ren Tao jerked his head up as he stared at Wang Lin, who was smiling with everyone, and shouted, "Wang Lin, I want to challenge you." He had to do this. If Wang Lin continued, he would have no chance of becoming the Divine Emperor anymore. In the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, the Divine Emperor was God. Anyone who dared to go against the Divine Emperor would become an enemy of the entire sect. However, there was one law within the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect that made Ren Tao dare to challenge Wang Lin. This roar echoed across the stars and immediately caused everyone to quiet down. The gazes of the surrounding people all gathered on Ren Tao. There were some Vermilion Bird Divine Sect elders present. Their task was to help Wang Lin smoothly transition into the role of Divine Emperor. They wouldn't allow any voice of rebelling. This was a death order sent by the old Divine Emperor. Ren Tao's forehead was covered in sweat, and everyone's gazes were locked onto him. This caused his mind to tremble. However, he didn't have time to worry about it. He stared at Wang Lin and roared, "Wang Lin, do you dare to accept my challenge? If you don't, then you're not qualified to become the Divine Emperor." The three old men behind Ren Tao stepped forward and surrounded him. Then they stared at the various elders among the sect members. "Ren Tao, you dare? Are the three of you going to openly oppose the command of the old emperor?" A tall old man walked out from the crowd. He was one of the Nirvana Shatterer elders that was at the Demon Spirit Land. "Elder Zhou, my Vermilion Bird Divine Sect's laws say that when a Divine Emperor passes the title to the next, all sect members have the right to challenge the Emperor for the position. Isn't that right?" Reckless idiot. There was a flash of coldness in Elder Zhou's eyes. He sneered but didn't act, and he retreated a few steps. Not only this old man, but at this moment, among the countless people here, the ones that had gone to the Demon Spirit Land looked at Ren Tao with mockery in their eyes. Some even looked at him with pity. Under these gazes, Ren Tao's mind couldn't help but tremble. He had heard a lot about Wang Lin's achievements in the Demon Spirit Land 3 years ago, but he didn't believe it. Right now, he clearly saw that Wang Lin was only at the peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage, which made him believe those rumors even less. He was about to speak. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's cold gaze locked onto Ren Tao. The moment his gaze fell on Ren Tao's body trembled and a chill appeared in his heart. Even the eyes of the three elders behind him narrowed. "If you challenge me, there is no chance for survival. Are you still willing?" Wang Lin's voice was calm, but it was filled with cold intent. Everyone that was at the Demon Spirit Land felt a chill appear in their hearts. They could never forget the power that tore the darkness of night and that fist that could shatter the sky during Dream of Ancient Times. Ren Tao's mind trembled even more intensely, and he had a hint of foreboding. However, he couldn't back down now. After carefully checking once more, he determined that Wang Lin was indeed only at the peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage. His expression was gloomy as he clenched his teeth and said, "Challenge." Wang Lin nodded. His original body was currently separated, but even without the powerful ancient god body, Wang Lin still had his spells. He could slaughter all Nirvana Cleanser cultivators just with magic arsenal, and he would even dare to battle Nirvana Shatterer cultivators. In truth, whether his original body was there or not made no difference right now. If there was really a difference, it was that the powerful body would allow Wang Lin's endurance to exceed everyone's expectations. There is no need to even talk about Sundered Night, which he could only use during special occasions. Wang Lin didn't too know that his Sundered Night had spread far and wide during these 3 years. It had set off a huge storm within the Alliance. Not only had Sundered Night killed Master Void, 2 of the Alzirus avatars were killed and 1 was seriously injured. Such a battle record allowed Wang Lin to become a top cultivator overnight. No matter what, you re a member of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect so I can let you die with a fire burial. Wang Lin waved his right hand, and at this moment, a phantom spirit body appeared behind him. 9 mysterious transformations. The moment this spirit appeared, it caused an uproar among the surrounding sect members. Even more excited gazes fell on Wang Lin. 9 mysterious transformations was a spell that only the Divine Emperor could learn. Even Ren Tao's face immediately became pale, but his eyes were immediately filled with resentment and unwillingness. He let out a roar as his hand formed a seal and fire erupted from his body. The heat wave formed a blurred armor around him. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he waved his hand, and the spirit behind him entered his arm. As he moved his arm, he pointed at Ren Tao's body. Fire burn. The cold voice echoed, but it contained the might that controlled all of the flames in the world. At this moment, as long as it was fire, it had to obey Wang Lin. Just these 2 words caused the flames around Ren Tao to tremble and unexpectedly pounce at Ren Tao. At this moment of crisis, Ren Tao's blurred armor rushed out like a flying sword at Wang Lin. Ren Tao's mind trembled. He didn't think Wang Lin could control his own flames. He knew that this was his last chance. If this strike couldn't seriously injure or kill Wang Lin, once the flames behind him arrived, he would be in great danger. 1 strike is enough to take his life. Wang Lin's expression was calm as his right hand formed a seal and pointed at Ren Tao. The first transformation of the 9 mysterious transformations was displaying its full power. At this moment, Wang Lin felt intense heat from his right hand. Rise 3-realm flame origin. As Wang Lin's calm voice echoed, he pointed at Ren Tao, and Ren Tao suddenly coughed out blood and popping sounds came from within his body. He was immediately pushed back, and fear and horror filled his eyes, but what he really felt was confusion. However, just as he was pushed back, even more sounds came from inside his body. Blood mist erupted from his body and he turned into a bloody mess. At this moment, his body shattered into pieces and the explosions continued. Fresh blood erupted and Ren Tao let out a miserable scream as his origin soul rushed out in panic. He was still confused. He didn't know how just 1 finger was enough to cause his body to collapse. However, just as his origin soul escaped, a thunderous roar that made him terrified came from his origin soul. This roar contained the destructive force of fire and thunder. Ren Tao's origin soul immediately collapsed. It was over in an instant. Everyone else only saw Wang Lin point twice, and Ren Tao dying. From beginning to end, Wang Lin remained calm. He wasn't disappointed by the 9 mysterious transformations. A spell that could only be cultivated by each generation of Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor should absolutely be powerful. Maybe it was more powerful than I expected because it's fused with thunder. Wang Lin's gaze swept by everyone and landed on the 3 old men behind Ren Tao. One of them was at the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer, and the other 2 were at the late stage of Nirvana Cleanser. Do the 3 of you want to challenge me as well? A white flame appeared within Wang Lin's right eye as he stared at the 3 old men. Leo holds a stuffed bear close to his chest, muttering prayers for likes on the video, sprinkling followers in his shares, as the children beside him start to crave. Chapter 1092 Wang Lin's plan. The 2 late-stage Nirvana Cleanser old men looked at each other before looking at the early-stage Nirvana Shatterer old man. They were clearly following his orders. This old man looked at Wang Lin. Although his expression was calm, his mind was in shock. He could kill Ren Tao with 2 points as well, but he was a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, while Wang Lin was only at the peak of the Nirvana Scryer stage. Taking that into consideration, he had to place importance on the person before him. More importantly, 9 mysterious transformations. The old man's mind trembled. The gazes of the other elders among the surrounding people placed an invisible pressure on him. The old man pondered a bit, and then calmly said, "Welcome, Divine Emperor." After he spoke, the other two old men relaxed and said at the same time, "Welcome, Divine Emperor." Following them were the sect members that listened to those three. They were all respectful and welcomed Wang Lin in unison. "Welcome, Divine Emperor." At this moment, the voices of all the sect members present echoed. The sound of tens of thousands of people shouting caused an earth-shattering roar. Wang Lin's expression was calm. Although he was surrounded by people welcoming him, he understood that a lot of the people here weren't willing. After all, his cultivation level wasn't high enough to suppress everyone here, but he didn't care. Wang Lin's heart wasn't inside the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. At this moment, while Wang Lin was surrounded by cheers and people, there were a few people who had every complex emotions and their minds weren't here. The first was Ta Shan. He didn't go meet Wang Lin but stayed where he was, silently looking at the sky. Although he couldn't see Wang Lin on the planet he was on, he could vaguely feel Wang Lin in the distance, and he heard the sounds of welcoming around Wang Lin. His expression was very complex, and after a long time, he let out a sigh before closing his eyes to continue cultivating. However, his mind wasn't able to calm down at all. In addition to him, there was someone else who was also the same. He was sitting on the wall of a city and was surrounded by wine jugs. He grabbed one and took a big gulp. His face revealed his sadness. Compared to the liveliness around Wang Lin, this old man looked very bleak. Behind him, Ling Er silently accompanied him. Aside from Ta Shan and Master Chen Yi, there was another person who felt very complex about this. This person was Shu Liguo. He was surrounded in flames, and he continued to curse as if he would never get tired. "Murderer Wang Lin, why haven't you let your grandpa Shu out yet? Just you wait. Over the next 2 days, the elders of the remaining 3 divine sects came to congratulate Wang Lin on becoming the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. The entire Vermilion Bird Divine Sect was extremely lively right now. Wang Lin was very polite to the elders of the 3 other divine sects. After all, the 4 divine sects shared the same room, and a majority of the elders here were at the demon spirit land. They had witnessed Wang Lin's spells, so they naturally wouldn't feel disdain by the fact that Wang Lin was only a Nirvana Scryer cultivator. After politely talking to each other, the elders of the 3 sects were arranged places to stay. The elders of the 3 sects cared a lot about Wang Lin. In particular, the 3 head elders of Azure Dragon Divine Sect were very respectful to Wang Lin. 3 years ago, when Wang Lin told the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor about the news of the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, they also found out about this matter and were extremely grateful Wang Lin had brought this news. A large ceremony was needed for the ascension of a new divine emperor. This was a tradition of the 4 divine sect, so Wang Lin couldn't just change it. This ceremony was set on the 6th day. Wang Lin would normally be very busy and would barely have time to rest right now. There were many things about the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect he had to get familiar with. Also, not all the elders of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect had acknowledged Wang Lin. They had accepted this due to the order of the old Divine Emperor. However, Wang Lin didn't do any of this. When he agreed to become the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, it was only a deal with the old Divine Emperor. For the following 3 years, the old Divine Emperor had helped him a lot. Although it was part of the deal, Wang Lin still had to repay this kindness. However, Wang Lin knew that due to his current situation, he couldn't stay in one place for too long. During these 3 years, he would often awaken from cultivation and feel his skin crawl. If this had only happened 1 or 2 times, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but during these past 3 years, Wang Lin had experienced this no less than 10 times. This feeling was getting more and more clear, and he vaguely felt like it was coming from planet Suzaku. Wang Lin clearly knew that as his cultivation level increased, so did his foresight on danger. It was obvious that this sense of danger was coming from Tuo Sen. Tuo Sen's roar, from when he left the land of the ancient god 1,000 years ago, seemed to echo inside Wang Lin's mind. "There will be a day when I'll come and find you to take back Tusi's inheritance." "I fear Tuo Sen is going to come out soon." Wang Lin was sitting on a stone at the edge of a volcano on one of the main planets. The volcano released smoke along with intense heat. Tuo Sen was like a knife floating above Wang Lin's head that could drop at any moment. Wang Lin had been plagued with this crisis for over 1,000 years. Because his ancient god original body had reached 5 stars and he had the knowledge from the memories he inherited. Wang Lin was able to carry out a detailed analysis of the power of an 8-star ancient god. The result of his analysis shocked him. With such a powerful enemy that could escape at any time and would hunt him down right away, there was no way for Wang Lin to peacefully stay here. Otherwise, the only result would be dragging down the 4 divine sect and having it destroyed by Tuo Sen. Wang Lin had cultivated for over 1,000 years, and he was no longer the little core formation cultivator. Although Tuo Sen was strong, Wang Lin wasn't completely unprepared. If Celestial Emperor Qing Lin can revive, I wonder how he will compare to Tuo Sen. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked down the mountain. All of the planets in the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect were constantly burning. At a glance, they were completely red. I'll rescue the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor as a temporary repayment for the old Divine Emperor's help. If I can avoid Tuo Sen's slaughter and gain the power to beat him, then I'll come back and ensure the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect prospers. If I die to Tuo Sen. Wang Lin silently looked at the sky and smiled bitterly. Tuo Sen, I won't let him escape so easily. This world is filled with greed. I wonder how many people will be lured by an 8-star ancient god. Wang Lin revealed a grim smile. Just at this moment, a stream of flames came from the distance. When it got within 100 feet of Wang Lin, the flames dissipated, revealing a red-robed elder. The old man was calm as he looked at Wang Lin and slowly said, "Divine Emperor, the Corpse Sect, Al Heaven, and the country of Chu Yun have all sent messengers here and are waiting in the back hall. Do you wish to see them?" This elder wasn't one of the 6 elders that went to the demon spirit land. Wang Lin only knew that his name was Shu and that he was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Shatterer. He had a lot of prestige among the Nirvana Shatterer elders. Throughout the past few days, many messengers of the Alliance had come to congratulate him. Wang Lin naturally didn't see those people, as there were Vermilion Bird Divine Sect members and elders to greet them. As for Al Heaven and the Corpse Sect, it was the first time they had sent anyone. Wang Lin pondered a bit and thought of his plan to deal with Tuo Sen. He then changed his mind about not meeting these messengers. Wang Lin stood up and calmly said, "I'll meet them." The old man looked at Wang Lin and calmly said, "I want to ask what the Divine Emperor is planning. It is not just me. Many other elders have the same doubt. I hope the Divine Emperor can answer us." "Save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor." After Wang Lin spoke, he didn't look at the old man but turned into a ray of light and flew away. The elder named Shu trembled and suddenly looked at where Wang Lin disappeared. His expression suddenly changed. "Azure Dragon Divine Emperor," he gasped and didn't ask more. His mind was completely shocked by those 4 words. Aside from the old Divine Emperor and the 3 head elders of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect, no one else knew about this matter. Now that Elder Shu had heard this, a storm was set off in his mind. For the first time, he felt that Wang Lin was very profound and mysterious. The back hall of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect was built entirely from red jade. From a distance, it was very eye-catching. It was surrounded by red trees, and even the ground was paved red. Waves of intense heat came from this hall and diffused into the surroundings. At this moment, there were 2 men and 1 woman sitting inside the hall. The woman was very beautiful. She was wearing a blue silk dress that half revealed her chest. Her eyes were beautiful, and there was a hint of flirtatiousness hidden within them. She carefully looked at the other 2 people. One of them was an old man, and the other was a bald young man. The old man wore a red robe and gave off a sense of majesty. His eyes were closed, but there were distortions around him, as if he didn't belong in this place. This revealed his shocking cultivation level. As for the bald man, he looked very ordinary and wore a green robe. He looked calm, but occasionally there would be a look of confusion in his eyes. However, he would soon return to normal. But the woman was immediately able to tell that the moment the confusion appeared in his eyes, the origin energy around here would pause for a moment. If Wang Lin was here, he would immediately recognize the old man and the bald man as they were people he knew. At this moment, a Vermilion Bird Divine Sect Junior came in with fruit and tea. After placing them down, this junior immediately left. The beautiful woman picked up the cup and blew the tea. She looked up at the old man and smiled. "I presume you are All Heaven S. Liunzi. Junior is the corpse sect S. Li Yingji. Greetings, Senior. Leo's birthday has passed. Thank you all for your blessings, your praise. Leo will continue to strive, producing increasingly captivating chapters. Brothers, keep your sharp tongues sheathed, stored away carefully. Chapter 1093. You want Wang Lin? The red-robed old man was Al-Heaven Zhan family's ancestor, Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi's eyes shined when he opened them. He coldly looked at the beautiful woman and calmly said, I am Li Yunzi. The beautiful woman smiled and took a drink. She then put down the cup and smiled. Senior Li Yunzi is very famous in Al-Heaven. Al-Heaven sending Senior here to congratulate the new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor makes it seem like Al-Heaven intends to form a friendly relationship with the new Divine Emperor. You re a core disciple of the corpse sect, and you re already at the Nirvana Cleanser stage at such a young age. Rumor has it that you have 4 corpse puppets, and 3 of them are no weaker than Nirvana Shatterer cultivators. For the corpse sect to send you means they also see great importance in the new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. Li Yunzi's voice was calm, but when it landed in the woman's ears, her eyes shrank an indiscernible amount. This fellow cultivator must be from the Alliance. I just don't to know your name. The woman changed the subject and looked at the bald man. The bald man calmly said, Country of Zhuyun, Moji. Moji? The beautiful woman frowned. It was obvious she had never heard of this name before. However, Li Yunzi's eyes suddenly narrowed and he turned to look at the bald man. After taking a closer look, he slowly said, So you are Moji. The bald man smiled and clasped his hands at Li Yunzi. Moji greets Senior. The beautiful woman pondered a bit and then inquired, Fellow cultivator Mo and Senior Li Yunzi, do you two know who the new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor is? I only know that this person is very arrogant and hasn't met any of the other messengers. The 4 divine sect also want mention his name and is keeping it a secret. Li Yunzi picked up the cup, took a look, and put it down. He had come to the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect under the order of the Thunder Celestial Temple. In addition to the congratulations, there was a deep purpose that required him to come into direct contact with the new Divine Emperor. This matter was very important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come personally. The beautiful woman softly whispered, This little girl has some news. During the battle at Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's cave 3 years ago, it was said the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect took someone. Li Yunzi let out a cold snort. He naturally knew about this. The Al-Heaven side had already thought about this matter, but aside from Master Flamespark, who thought it was very likely to be him, no one else thought so. Thus, the possibility of him being the new Divine Emperor was ruled out because, after all, it was too inconceivable. Him? He doesn't have the qualifications to become the Divine Emperor. There was a hint of disdain in Li Yunzi's eyes. If not for Qing Shui, Li Yunzi would have already caught him and refined him into a puppet to help Li Yunzi to break through the mysteries of the battle scroll. If someone said Wang Lin was the new Divine Emperor, Li Yunzi would never believe it. Thinking about Qing Shui, Li Yunzi felt at ease. Qing Shui going missing was within his expectations. He even knew that the upheaval at the Alliance headquarters was directly connected to Qing Shui. In addition to fulfilling the task Al-Heaven had given him, he also had a personal goal in coming here. He wanted to use the name of Al-Heaven to ask for Wang Lin from the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. He thought that the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect had their reasons for taking Wang Lin. 3 years of time was enough to get their value out of Wang Lin. Now Wang Lin was probably useless to the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, so it shouldn't be difficult to get him. The beautiful woman looked at Li Yunzi and asked, Oh! Rumor has it that his spell was able to kill Master Void. He was also able to kill 2 and seriously injure one of the All-Seer's avatars. Why does Senior Li Yunzi think he isn't qualified? Back then, the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect sent out a large force and even had the Vermilion Bird's true spirit lead the way. Li Yunzi calmly said, That person talked to me just before heading off to Qinglin's cave. I am very clear of his cultivation level. He didn't believe that Wang Lin's cultivation level could be changed that much. In his opinion, it was all just baseless rumors. The beautiful woman frowned. Their corpse sect had collected various clues and concluded that the famous Wang Lin from Qinglin's cave should be the new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. However, Li Yunzi's words had put doubt in her mind. This Wang Lin was once Al-Heaven's Thunder Celestial. If even Al-Heaven doesn't think he is the new divine emperor, the beautiful woman no longer spoke. The person you two are talking about is Wang Lin, Mo Ji suddenly asked. Just at this moment, Li Yunzi suddenly raised his head and looked outside with a strange expression. A moment later, Mo Ji also raised his head and looked outside the hall. The last to look was the beautiful woman. The moment their gazes gathered outside the hall, a heat wave surged in from outside. This attracted all the fire origin energy in the hall to form an invisible vortex. At this moment, the fire origin energy seemed to become alive and became cheerful and active. As it rotated, it moved aside as if it were moving out of the way as a sign of respect. A person slowly walked into the hall under the gazes of the three. This person wore red armor that covered his face, leaving only his white hair out. There was also a white cloak behind him that matched the white vermilion bird tattoo, creating a sense of pressure. As this person walked into the hall, his armor made clinking sounds, and he completely ignored everyone. The cloak moved with the white hair, and an unimaginable heat wave filled the hall. All the fire origin energy here seemed to become excited and circled the person in armor, forming a vortex around him. At this moment, a powerful pressure appeared within the hall. It wasn't just the fire origin energy in the hall that changed, but all the fire origin energy around the planet and starfield seemed to be rapidly gathering toward this person. As a result, the sudden change in origin energy caused a powerful pressure to spread out. There were some cultivators following this person. There were 4 in total, and they were all old and at the Nirvana Shatterer stage. They wore red robes, but they were very different from what Li Yunzi wore. The 4 of them entered with the armored person. They stood behind him and calmly looked at the 3 of them. The armored person walked before everyone and lifted his cloak as he sat down. His flame-like eyes pierced through the helmet and landed on the 3 of them. At this moment, he was filled with majesty. Also, the origin energy surrounding him prevented any divine sense from spying on him. Even if someone's divine sense were able to pierce through the origin energy in the cloak, very few people would be able to identify Wang Lin. The hall was completely silent. The appearance of the armored man was too shocking, and it unexpectedly stirred up the fire origin energy here. The beautiful woman's forehead was now sweating like she was sitting in an oven. Normally, with her cultivation level, she wouldn't be bothered by the heat, but the moment the armor person appeared, all the fire origin energy began to gather here. Even with her cultivation level, she found it a bit unbearable. Junior Li Yingji from the corpse sect greets the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. The woman withdrew all the contempt in her heart. She withstood the pressure, stood up, and respectfully greeted this person as if he was an elder of her sect. What cultivation level is this Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor at to be able to produce such pressure? The beautiful woman was shocked. As Moji looked at the armored person, his eyes revealed a strange light, but he wasn't sure. At this moment, he also withstood the pressure to stand up and respectfully said, "Country of Chu Yun's Mozi greets Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor." The armored person's gaze swept by. His eyes paused on Moji for a moment before landing on Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi took a deep breath as he stood up and calmly said, "This old man is Al-Heaven's Zhan family S. Li Yunzi. I came here on behalf of the Thunder Celestial Temple to congratulate you on becoming the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor." The armored person's gaze lingered on Li Yunzi the most, and there was even a smile hidden under that armor. However, no one knew whether that smile was filled with ill intent or goodwill. Li Yunzi's heart skipped a beat. He felt a hint of unease from the gaze of the new divine emperor. This was especially true when the other 4 Nirvana Shatterer elders also looked at him. Li Yunzi, the person in the armor, slowly said. His voice was changed slightly by the armor, and when it pierced through the flames it sounded ethereal. The unease in Li Yunzi's heart became even stronger. He took a step back as he looked at the new divine emperor and asked, "Does the divine emperor know me?" The armored person looked at Li Yunzi for a moment, before withdrawing his gaze and looking at Moji. Moji suppressed the suspicion in his heart and said, "Divine Emperor, I came as the representative of the country of Chu Yun to congratulate the new Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. I was ordered by my teacher to bring gifts." As he spoke, his right hand reached at the void and a crack appeared. This crack was not stable. It was clearly being affected by the origin energy here. Seeing that the crack was about to collapse the moment it appeared, the armored man raised his right hand. The origin energy around the crack dispersed, and the crack immediately stabilized. This scene caused the beautiful woman's pupils to shrink. Even Li Yunzi's eyes narrowed. Mo Ji's expression didn't change as he took out the prepared gifts from the crack. Pills, treasures, and various other things were taken out. The Vermilion Bird Divine Sect members came in to pick them up and stood to the side. The last thing Mo Ji took out was a blue and green small flag. The moment it appeared, it released a powerful surge of cold energy. Even the fire origin energy in the hall paused for a moment. The armored person's eyes narrowed as he stared at the small flag and revealed a strange light in his eyes. This is something teacher specially ordered me to gift to the Divine Emperor. It is a spirit that teacher sealed hundreds of years ago. Wang Lin's right hand reached out of the void and held the small flag in his hand. After carefully looking at it, he looked at Mo Ji and said, "Many thanks." After Mo Ji heard many thanks, his eyes shined as he looked profoundly at Wang Lin, but he didn't speak. Li Yunzi, who came on the behalf of Alheaven's Thunder Celestial Temple, had also brought gifts. Although they had their value, none of them caught Wang Lin's eyes. After the gifts were received, Li Yunzi's eyes lit up and he said, "Divine Emperor, aside from the few matters the Thunder Celestial Temple sent me here for, I also have a personal request." Seeing the new Divine Emperor's gaze fall on him, Li Yunzi pondered a bit and said, 3 years ago, the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect took away a person named Wang Lin. If the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect no longer has use for him, could you let this old man take him? After he spoke, the 4 elders around the man in armor were startled, and all looked at Li Yunzi. The man in armor looked at Li Yunzi and slowly asked, "You want Wang Lin?" Leo truly didn't realize today was May 20th. Leo's already married, not caring about this day at all. Truly no intention. Truly no intention. I'm already married. Yes, just like that. CHIRP, CHIRP, CHIRP. Chapter 1094. Mistaken. The unease in Li Yunzi's heart increased when he vaguely felt that the new Divine Emperor's voice was a bit hostile. In particular, he noticed that the gazes of the 4 elders toward him had changed. The armored person looked at Li Yunzi and began to laugh. The laughter became even louder, and the origin energy within the hall began to rotate rapidly. The origin energy within the entire hall was affected. There were also arcs of lightning moving within the origin energy, making popping sounds. Li Yunzi's mind trembled, and he stood up and retreated a few steps. He stared at the armored man and said, "What does Divine Emperor mean if Wang Lin?" Before he could finish speaking, his words were interrupted. The armored man slowly said, "I heard that Wang Lin is your Alheaven's Thunder Celestial. Is it you who wants his person, or is it your Thunder Celestial Temple who wants this person?" Li Yunzi frowned and said, "Although this person is my Alheaven's Thunder Celestial, his status as the Thunder Celestial has already been removed." Li Yunzi looked at the armored man and said, "Although I came here asking for him, this is also the will of the Thunder Celestial Temple." As the armored person looked at Li Yunzi, his smile even affected the armor, and he slowly said, "Oh? I wonder what issue this Wang Lin has with you in Alheaven." The unease within Li Yunzi's heart became even stronger. After pondering for a bit, he said, "He has a lot of connections with the Thunder Celestial Temple, but it is inconvenient to list them one by one. But with me, he has taken an important treasure of my family, so I naturally must recover it." "So that's the reason you want Wang Lin. It is understandable." The armored man nodded, but the 4 elders around him revealed strange expressions but didn't speak. "I hope the Divine Emperor can agree to my request. After all, my All-Heaven and the 4 Divine Sect have a common enemy, the Alliance." Li Yunzi relaxed a bit. Although he was arrogant, he wouldn't dare to offend the 4 Divine Sect. Although the 4 Divine Sect had fallen, their background was deep. Even Al-Heaven feared them. "You said that Wang Lin has taken your Zhan family's important treasure. How come I don't know about this?" The armor man's sudden question immediately startled Li Yunzi. Before he could completely react, the armored man stood up, placed his hand over his helmet, and a gloomy voice came out from inside the helmet. "You want Wang Lin, Li Yunzi, look at who I am." In an instant, the helmet covering the person's face dissipated into a ripple, revealing Wang Lin. "You, Wang Lin." Even with Li Yunzi's mental strength, he couldn't help but gasp. The shock and disbelief in his eyes reached a limit. He couldn't help but subconsciously take a few steps back. "Impossible. How can you be the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor? Impossible." Li Yunzi was running out of breath and his pupils contracted. He simply couldn't accept this fact. In his mind, Wang Lin was just an ant, an insect he could crush at any time. The strong contrast was beyond Li Yunzi's belief. He stared at Wang Lin, filled with disbelief, but his shock and terror were even stronger. One of the four elders beside Wang Lin stepped forward and said in a gloomy tone, "You dare. Even if you represent Al-Heaven's Thunder Celestial Temple, you have no right to judge the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor." With that step, the pressure of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator spread out and charged forward at Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi was already in shock, and when the pressure crashed down on him, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He retreated a few more steps with a pale face and was forced to accept the facts before him. "You, Li Yunzi, did you come here to represent Al-Heaven to congratulate me on becoming the Divine Emperor? Or are here to humiliate me by coming to the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect to ask for the Divine Emperor?" This is too absurd. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy, and his voice was as cold as the icy wind of the afterlife. "This matter is like me sending someone to the Thunder Celestial Temple to ask for Master Flamespark. Li Yunzi, unless you give me a satisfactory explanation today, you won't be able to leave the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Tomorrow, your Al-Heaven will pay the price. This matter isn't me making things difficult. Fellow cultivator Mo Ji from the country of Chu Yun can be my witness." Wang Lin didn't even give Li Yunzi a chance. He executed his blow like a bolt of thunder. Li Yunzi's mind was still in shock, and those words caused him to cough out a bit of blood. His face was pale, and just as he was about to speak, Mo Ji spoke. "I can be witness to testify that Li Yunzi was unreasonable first and requested for the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. My words can represent the country of Chu Yun." The eyes of the beautiful woman from the corpse sect lit up and she smiled. "Since this little one was also part of this, I can also testify that Senior Li Yunzi's request was really absurd." Li Yunzi wasn't able to catch his breath before he heard the words of Mo Ji and the woman from the corpse sect. He coughed out more blood, then his head jerked up and he stared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin sneered and sat down once more. He raised his right hand as if he was observing his fingernails. He didn't pay any attention to Li Yunzi at all. This was the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, so Li Yunzi couldn't escape his grasp. If this person hadn't brought up such an absurd request, Wang Lin wouldn't have done this. However, now he had to teach Li Yunzi a lesson. Not only him, even the four elders behind him stared at Li Yunzi with cold gazes. The surroundings were completely silent. Mo Ji looked at Wang Lin and felt melancholy. He didn't expect the old friend his teacher talked about to be Wang Lin. Thinking back to when they first met on planet Suzaku, it was inside a temple on a rainy night. At that time, this person had just obtained his domain and had just reached the soul formation stage. However, that night of Dao seeking had made Mo Ji remember Wang Lin. The beautiful woman from the corpse sect also didn't speak. She looked at Li Yunzi with a smile that was not a smile, as if she was watching a lively show. Sweat slowly came out of Li Yunzi's forehead. It was very clear that he can escape the Four Divine Sect with his cultivation level. Wang Lin bringing the Thunder Celestial Temple into this was too vicious. This was no longer his own personal matter. It was the entire Thunder Celestial Temple insulting the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. This was the complete opposite of Al-Heaven's original intention. "I was reckless on this matter, but it is a personal matter and it has nothing to do with Al-Heaven." After a long time, Li Yunzi revealed a bitter expression. Although he was unwilling, he still had to clasp his hands at Wang Lin and explain. The anger in his heart was strong enough to burn the world, and the humiliation was enough to devour his mind. Back then, this Wang Lin had to respect him and had to watch his mood. Otherwise, he could easily kill Wang Lin at any time. Even the last time they met, Wang Lin still had to be careful and had to come observe the battle scroll immediately when he was called. Wang Lin didn't even dare to not come. Li Yunzi was very clear about this matter. He was planning on pressuring this person to constantly explore the battle scroll. If it wasn't for Qing Shui, Wang Lin would have already become his puppet. But right now, he had to suffer the humiliation of bowing down to Wang Lin. The humiliation of having to explain what he had said. How could he bear this? However, if he didn't bear it, he would without a doubt die in the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Insulting the Divine Emperor, just these 4 words were enough for him to be unable to leave the Four Divine Sect. Wang Lin simply pretended he didn't hear Li Yunzi's words, and continued to observe his right hand. Li Yunzi's veins swelled as suppressed the anger in his heart. When he looked at the 4 Nirvana Shatterer elders around Wang Lin, his mind trembled. After pondering for a bit, he squeezed out a look of respect and said, "I hope Divine Emperor won't mind this old man's mistake. I was indeed reckless, but I didn't mean to insult." Wang Lin looked at his right hand and slowly said, "Reckless, I asked you before whether this matter was your own personal matter or all heaven is. I still clearly remember your answer. I wonder what item of the Thunder Celestial Temple I hold." "You." Li Yunzi raised his head and suppressed the rage that was about to explode. At this moment, he didn't dare to get angry. If the woman from the corpse sect and Moji weren't here, he would be gone out all. Even though he would likely die, Al Heaven would get revenge for him. However, the other party had seized the initiative on this matter. With the witnesses here, even Al Heaven wouldn't be willing to go to war with both the Alliance and the 4 Divine Sect for his absurd request. Wang Lin's gaze toward him was extremely gloomy. Li Yunzi knew that if he didn't suppress his anger, he would immediately be killed. "Lord Divine Emperor, this matter I was wrong on this matter." Li Yunzi clenched his fist and his body trembled. Ever since he began cultivating, he had never been humiliated like this. Wang Lin lowered his right hand as he stared at Li Yunzi and said, "Word for word, I want all the battle scrolls of your Zhan family. Give them to me and I'll let this go. I'll give you 15 minutes to consider." After he finished, he waved his right hand, and some fire origin energy gathered before him to form an incense stick that floated in the air. As the incense stick burned, time slowly passed. Li Yunzi's heart struggled. Seeing that the incense was almost done burning, he knew that his time was almost up. An invisible pressure surrounded his body, and the bitter look on his face became even stronger as he nodded. His right hand reached at the void, and a crack appeared before him. 3 scrolls flew out from the crack. Dense battle intent came from the scrolls and surrounded the area. Leo continues to read, "Today is Monday, wishing for just a few more likes and followers for the VIDEO channel." Chapter 10, Entering the Sect. The red-faced old man frowned with dissatisfaction and said, "Elder Li, is our Heng Yue sect really going to sink so low, to make an exception for the life and death of a mortal?" Elder Li opened his eyes and said with a cold voice, "Elder Ma, the patriarch told me to handle this matter. If it's not handled properly, and this piece of trash attempts suicide a second time and his parents spread that we forced their kid to suicide, isn't that more embarrassing? If you are willing to take responsibility on this matter, then I'll let you handle it." The middle-aged man quickly tried to make peace and said, "There is no need to argue. Why don't we let him become a disciple first? Then after 8 or 10 years, when he fails to keep cultivating, we can send him back, and there will be no problem." The old man in robe responded, "If other youths follow suit, what will we do?" The middle-aged man chuckled and said, "This is an easy task. After this, we have learned our lesson. When we fail people in the future, we should instill in the idea of not suiciding, and that would solve this problem. As for this Wang Lin, since the matter is already this big, let us just take him as a disciple. 1 extra disciple doesn't matter." Aside from Elder Li, 2 other elders looked thoughtfully at the middle-aged man, not saying a word. The middle-aged man smiled and thought, "Oh, Wang Lin, I have helped all I can. I have repaid you for the piece of metal your 4th uncle has given me. I am really curious how a mortal managed to get his type of material." What the middle-aged man didn't know was that Wang Lin's 4th uncle had bought it from a blacksmith. He had seen many things, and as soon as he saw it, he knew it wasn't normal. This time, to let Taiju join the Heng Yu sect, he brought it out. As for what the metal was used for, he didn't know. A piece of metal changed Wang Lin's fate. When the news reached Wang Lin, he couldn't believe it. He was somehow accepted as a disciple for no apparent reason. 2 days later, he saw his parents off from the Heng Yu sect. After seeing the joy on his parents' faces, he decided to seriously cultivate here. However, his way of thinking was changed after his parents left. He was secretly called to the place where disciples get their work assigned and saw a shifty-looking youth. The youth's face was full of contempt. He looked at him and laughed. "So, you are Wang Lin, the kid that got to be a disciple by suiciding?" Wang Lin silently looked at the youth challenging him. The youth sneered, "Boy, starting tomorrow morning you come to me for work. Your job is to fetch water, no less than 10 vats a day. If you can finish the work, then no food for you. And if you continue for 7 days, then I'll tell the elders to kick you out of the sect. These are your clothes. Remember, honorary disciples can only wear gray. Once you are a true disciple, you will be assigned other colors. After he finished talking, he tossed the clothes to Wang Lin and closed his eyes. Wang Lin picked up his clothes and asked, "Where do I live?" The youth didn't even open his eyes, and casually said, "Go north until you see a row of houses. Give your badge to the disciple there, and they will give you a room." Wang Lin left and headed north to the houses. The youth opened his eyes and said, with disdain, to rely on suicide to join, he really is a waste. While walking in the Heng Yue sect, Wang Lin saw many disciples wearing gray uniforms in a hurry with pale and cold faces. Some had tools in their hands, and they were all rushing about. After going straight for a while, he saw a row of houses. There were a lot more disciples in gray here, but they hardly talked to each other. After he gave his badge to the yellow-clothed disciple that was in charge, the youth impatiently pointed to a room. Wang Lin had already gotten used to the cold expressions of all the people here. He got to his room and opened the door. It was a large room with 2 wooden beds, a table, and 2 chairs. They were all very clean and were about as new as the furniture at his house. He picked the bed that looked vacant. He placed his luggage down and laid in his bed. Although he had gotten into the Heng Yue sect, it wasn't what he was expecting. He thought that he was going to learn immortal techniques, but it seemed like his job was to fetch water. Thinking about this, he sighed and touched the stone bead in front of his chest. This was the treasure he had acquired. Wang Lin had read many books, and he knew the danger of exposing it, as many people would aim for this treasure. A short while later, night fell and an extremely tired youth in gray opened the door and entered. He was stunned when he saw Wang Lin, then proceeded to pass out on his bed without saying a word. Wang Lin didn't care. He knew that he had to wake up early. He touched his stomach, then took out some sweet potatoes. His parents brought them for him to eat when they went out searching for him, and since he was accepted, his parents gave all the remaining food to him. The sweet potato was very sweet. As Wang Lin was eating, the youth woke up and eyed the sweet potato. While his mouth watered, he said in a low voice, "Can I have a piece?" Wang Lin took out a few pieces and said, "I have a lot here. If you like, have some more." The youth quickly picked up the food and scarfed it down, then went over to the table and poured himself a glass of water. He exclaimed, "Damn it! I haven't eaten anything in 2 days. So what's your name?" Wang Lin said his name. The youth suddenly laughed and said, "So you are Wang Lin, the trash that entered the Heng Yue sect by attempting suicide." He suddenly realized what he had done and said, "Brother, my name is Zhang Hu. To tell you the truth, there is no one in the sect that doesn't know about you, so please don't blame me for what I said before. In fact, I admire you for being able to enter the sect this way." Wang Lin laughed bitterly. He didn't try to explain and passed over a few pieces of sweet potato. Zhang Hu quickly accepted it and took a few bites, then said, "Wang Lin, you better leave some of it for yourself. You are new here. Who knows what evil things that yellow weasel will try to do? Damn it, he doesn't even treat us like humans. Leo has a nasal inflammation, and a cold again. My nose is just like a running faucet. Frustrated." Chapter 109, Untitled. The person was startled. He thought that Wang Lin wasn't willing to tell the truth, so he bitterly smiled. He slapped his bag of holding, threw out a token, turned around, and loudly said, "The Piao Miao sect gives up their chance to enter the foreign battleground. Once the valley opens, we are leaving." With that, he led a group of cultivators southwest and slowly disappeared. With someone leading the way, the sects that had already lost their tokens explained their situation and even opened up every disciple's bag of holding. After that, 3 more sects left. The Hewan sect was the last sect with a token. The female disciple leading the group didn't hand over the token but looked at the other remaining sect, Wu Feng Valley. The leader of the Wu Feng Valley was an old man who looked like he was close to death. He was already at the pseudo-core formation stage and would only need to go into closed-door training for a few years to form his core. He stared at Wang Lin and sneered, "Little baby, this old man has to thank you for gathering all these tokens for me. Leave behind the tokens and you can scram." The Hewan sect's leader's brow loosened. After taking to the members of the sect, they all slowly backed away. Wang Lin's gaze swept past them before landing on the arrogant old man. Then, without a word, He slapped his bag of holding, and a cyan grain of rice appeared in the air. It was clear from the expression on the old man's face that he was looking down on Wang Lin. He felt that he could have killed those people as cleanly as Wang Lin did. In this eyes, Wang Lin must have been hiding his strength, but at most it was only the peak of late-stage foundation establishment. He believed that his cultivation level was the same as Wang Lin's, because he was at the same cultivation level and was holding one of Wufeng Valley's key treasures, the heavenly lightning windfire fan. He had no doubt that his victory was assured. Now seeing that Wang Lin took out an unimpressive little point of light, a condescending smile appeared on his face. He shouted to his fellow disciples, "All of you back up and watch how I destroy this arrogant brat." With that, he waved his hand, and a small 3-inch fan appeared in his hand. There were many golden flame symbols on the fan, making it look very pretty. The expressions of the other Wufeng Valley disciples changed when they heard the old man's words and saw the fan. They unconsciously backed up. Some even backed up more than 100 feet before they relaxed a bit. Wang Lin moved and grabbed the dumbfounded Li Shan as he quickly backed up. As he backed up, he used his attraction force technique to control the grain of rice to go toward the old man. The old man's face was filled with disdain. He hit the fan and the fan opened. As the fan opened, a beam of golden light shot out. Suddenly, a strange wind appeared and flew around the fan. Then, the golden flame on the fan seemed to be alive, instantly heating up the area. Just at that moment, the cyan grain hit the outer edge of the strange wind. The next instant, the golden fire surrounded the grain. Wang Lin's expression was normal. His feet didn't T-stop as he thought in his head, "Explode!" In the midst of the strange wind and golden flames, a cyan light burst forth. When the light reached its peak, it exploded with a boom and formed a ring of cyan light that began to spread like a tidal wave. This scene was like 10,000 horses galloping. In an instant, it covered everything within more than 300 meters. Wind was normally an intangible thing, but under the power of the G realm, the wind turned into pieces of blue ice and fell to the ground. Next was the golden flame. The flame didn't even have time to go out before it was frozen. If one looked closely, it would look like the flame was still burning inside the ice. As for Wufeng Valley's treasure, the heavenly lightning windfire fan, it maintained its open form as it was covered by blue ice. The pseudo-core formation old man didn't even have time to react. His face was filled with disdain and pride when the ice froze him. Behind him were 17 disciples of Wufeng Valley. Even the ones that backed away more than 100 feet weren't able to escape. They all became ice sculptures. Within a 300-meter radius, nothing was left alive. Anything that breathed was killed. This became a forbidden area for life. Li Shan's mind went blank as he stared dumbfoundedly at the scene before him. His heart was shocked to the limit. He opened his mouth, but was unable to speak. His gaze toward Wang Lin became much more respectful. The disciples of the Hehuan sect managed to escape it because they were 500 meters away, but they didn't dare to move because Wang Lin's cold gaze locked onto them. The disciples of Wufeng Valley, turning into ice sculptures before them, left the Hehuan sect disciples in a state of shock. Looking at the 10+ ice sculptures, the leading female disciple's face was pale as she took out the token without any hesitation. After she carefully put the token on the ground, Wang Lin shouted, "How many tokens are there in total?" The female disciple's body shook. Suppressing her fear, her voice trembled as she said, "There are 7 in total." Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he secretly calculated. Wufeng Valley didn't have a token, and in his hand he had one from the Piao Miao sect, 2 from the Xuandao sect, and 1 from the Hehuan sect. He had 4 in total, only 3 more and he would have them all. But the token belonging to the corpse sect disappeared into the formation along with the late-stage foundation establishment disciples. Excluding the one from the corpse sect, there were 2 more. Before entering Juming Valley, he heard from Yizi Zai that the competition in the valley was to steal the others' tokens. According to this, and from Situ Nan's explanation of how to enter the foreign battleground, he gained a vague understanding of everything. He turned to the female disciple and suddenly said, "How many slots are there to enter the foreign battleground?" The female disciple was startled. She hesitated, but after seeing Wang Lin's cold gaze, her body shivered, and she quickly said, 3. There are only 3 slots. With that, she was afraid that her explanation wasn't enough and would anger Wang Lin, so she quickly added, "There are a total of 7 tokens." But if there are more than 3 tokens that are not destroyed, Zhao loses its chance to enter the foreign battleground. Wang Lin glanced at her, and the female disciple immediately became scared. She anxiously said, fellow cultivator, of the 3 remaining tokens, I know where one of them is. If you let us go, I can tell you. These past few days without wishing for likes on the VIDEO, the like button for the VIDEO has quickly fallen to 10th. Urgently wishing for you readers to flip through and see if there's a like button for the VIDEO left unpressed. Chapter 1095. I wonder what rank this corpse would be. Battle scroll. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his right hand reached out, and the 3 battle scrolls flew into his hand. His divine sense spread out, and with his understanding of the battle scrolls, he immediately knew if they were real or not. Since you have already taken the battle scrolls, can I leave? Li Yunzi had to personally hand over the Zhan family's most important treasures. This was something almost unbearable for him, but he also knew that even if he didn't hand them over, Wang Lin would most likely still get them. He had no choice in this matter. If someone else was the divine emperor, even if Li Yunzi offended them, at most he would just be trapped and they wouldn't dare to kill him. After all, he was from Al-Heaven. Al-Heaven was a very mysterious entity to the Alliance, and the unknown would be given Li Yunzi something to work with. Very few people from the Alliance really understand Al-Heaven, just like how Al-Heaven didn't understand the Alliance. However, Wang Lin was very familiar with Al-Heaven, and was once the Thunder Celestial. Al-Heaven wasn't that mysterious to Wang Lin. This was still secondary. The most important factor was Li Yunzi's understanding of Wang Lin. He knew that Wang Lin was ruthless, daring, and decisive. If this person wanted to kill him, then he wouldn't be imprisoned, as that would give him a chance to counterattack. Wang Lin would choose to decisively attack, and Li Yunzi would have no chance for survival. As a result, he had to give in. Although his heart was bleeding, he still had to hand over the battle scrolls. After putting away the battle scrolls, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he slowly said, I can let go of the fact you insulted my identity as the Divine Emperor. However, there is still a personal matter I'd like to discuss with Senior Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi felt his heart drop as he stared at Wang Lin and clenched his teeth. You have already taken the battle scrolls and I have already paid the price. What more do you want? Wang Lin's expression was calm as he slowly said, You had said that I took an important treasure of your Zhang family. You must give me an explanation about this. Wang Lin stared at Li Yunzi. He wanted to kill this person, but it would worsen the relationship between Al-Heaven and the Four Divine Sect. Killing him wouldn't align with Wang Lin's plan to deal with Tuo Sen. More importantly, if the Four Divine Sect and Al-Heaven's relationship worsened, the ones that would benefit would be the Corpse Sect and the Alliance. Qing Shui was very likely in the Alliance headquarters, and there was also the old Divine Emperor's kindness. All these various things made it so Wang Lin couldn't kill Li Yunzi for now. Li Yunzi suppressed the anger once more and said, What more do you want? Wang Lin slowly said, The 10 Lu Fu. You. Popping sounds came from Li Yunzi's body. The anger inside him had reached a limit. His body trembled as he suppressed his anger several times to calm himself down. He finally let out a deep breath. After giving you one last time, I only have 6 Lu Fu left. I don't have any more left, so that is all I can give you. Li Yunzi clenched his teeth. Wang Lin smiled and nodded. 6 is fine. You must also give me the jade with the instructions on controlling them. Li Yunzi closed his eyes and his right hand reached at the void. 6 Lu Fu filled with the scent of blood flew out, and there was also a piece of jade. Wang Lin waved his sleeves, and the 6 Lu Fu went into his bag of holding. He then grabbed the jade, and after checking it, he put it away. I am departing. Li Yunzi turned around to leave. He couldn't stay inside the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect any longer. Don't leave so quickly. I have something I must trouble Li Yunzi to pass to Senior Master Flamespark. Wang Lin waved his right hand, and a piece of jade flew into Li Yunzi's hand. Li Yunzi frowned and his divine sense scanned the jade. Then his expression changed greatly, and he looked up and his eyes shined brightly. This matter. Wang Lin smiled but didn't say more. If Senior Master Flamespark is interested, he can come seek me out at the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Li Yunzi carefully put the jade away. Then he looked at Wang Lin. He felt like he couldn't see through this person before him anymore. He let out a sigh and quickly left. My Zhan family's things can be in the hands of outsiders Wang Lin one day, I'll take them back. If I don't kill you, then I'm not Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi rushed out from the cultivation planet and quickly flew away. However, this jade from Wang Lin is a heaven-shaking matter. I must deliver this to Master Flamespark as soon as possible. If this is true, then it is far too shocking. Li Yunzi made up his mind to leave. Every moment he stayed here, he felt extremely humiliated. His right hand reached forward and he took out something from the crack before him. It was a black stone, and the moment he grabbed it, he crushed it into powder. The powder didn't scatter but quickly condensed around Li Yunzi. It was like a long line had wrapped itself around Li Yunzi. In an instant, Li Yunzi's speed increased several fold and he disappeared without a trace. Several days later, Li Yunzi had finally left the eastern region that was controlled by the four divine sect at his fastest speed and charged toward the All-Heaven-controlled northern region. On the second day after he stepped into the northern region, just as he was rushing, a ray of light shot toward him. This ray of light was very fast and contained earth-shattering power, as it shot at Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi's expression changed greatly, and he wanted to dodge. However, due to his cultivation level, he couldn't escape the approaching light at all. The ray of light pierced through Li Yunzi's chest. Li Yunzi didn't even have time to use spells or treasures. Li Yunzi coughed out blood, and his body immediately collapsed. His origin soul was filled with shock and terror as he fled. Seeing that the light wasn't going to give up, Li Yunzi panicked. His right hand reached forward and a 100 feet wide ball of blood came out. It was a Lufu blood ball. The moment it appeared, Li Yunzi immediately shouted, "Explode!" The ball suddenly exploded, and the shockwave confronted the light. Borrowing this moment, Li Yunzi was willing to expend his origin soul essence to escape. However, a red line began to spread from his chest across his body. There was a smile that was not a smile on Li Yunzi's face, but his eyes were filled with terror. Poison. This is the corpse sect's poison. All-Heaven had gathered a lot of intelligence on the attack methods of the corpse sect. Li Yunzi was among the most powerful cultivators of All-Heaven, so he naturally knew when he was affected by a poison from the corpse sect. Scared out of his wits, Li Yunzi fled like crazy. It wasn't until Li Yunzi was far away that the figure of a man appeared. He wore blue and was very handsome. He looked at where Li Yunzi escaped to before shaking his head and leaving. To sneak attack a junior with the poison extracted from Situ Nan. This matter, forget it. The two of us owe Wang Lin too much. The man sighed and disappeared. Let's leave the matter about Li Yunzi for now. After he left the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect, the woman from the Corpse Sect brought out her gifts. After expressing the desire to form an alliance with the Four Divine Sect, she was going to leave. However, Wang Lin asked her to remain to participate in the coronation ceremony in a few days. When the woman was about to get up and excuse herself, Wang Lin suddenly asked her a question. Fellow cultivator Li, the corpse sect always use corpses as companions, so you must know a lot about the different corpses of the world. I wonder, what is considered the best body? The beautiful woman's eyes lit up. She was very interested in this new divine emperor. In particular, when he bullied Li Yunzi earlier, this made her view of Wang Lin change greatly. As if tempting Wang Lin, she pursed her lips and smiled. Since the divine emperor asked, then this little woman will definitely answer in detail. The rank 1 corpse has to be the bizarre reverse 5 elemental corpse. There was flirtatious look on her face as she explained. This bizarre reverse 5 elemental corpse isn't a real corpse. It is formed naturally by the heavens under special conditions. This body is formed by the 5 elements, but there are also 5 elements outside the body. This results in a strange change in law. Wang Lin nodded at what she said. So it's like this. I originally thought the news I received about a corpse would truly be the rank 1 corpse in the world. I originally wanted fellow cultivator Lai to check. But since this is the case, forget about it. The beautiful woman's eyes lit up and she smiled. Oh, wonder what kind of corpse would make the divine emperor so confident. Wang Lin didn't waste time. He waved his sleeves and a piece of jade flew at the beautiful woman. She caught it with a smile. When she looked at the jade, she didn't seem to care too much about what the information inside could be. As far as she was concerned, no matter how rare the corpse Wang Lin wanted was, her corpse sect would certainly have it. Her corpse sect even had some of the rare, bizarre reverse 5 elemental corpses. What's more, when she said that the bizarre reverse 5 elemental corpse was the rank 1 corpse, that was only to the outside. There were 7 corpses within the corpse sect that were better than the bizarre reverse 5 elemental corpse. She casually scanned the jade with her divine sense, but in an instant, her right hand trembled. Her expression became serious. However, this seriousness suddenly collapsed and was replaced with shock and terror. Her right hand became unstable as she clenched the jade, her expression became flushed, and even her breathing became uneven. She took a few steps back and didn't recover for a while. It wasn't that she was too weak mentally, but the news in the jade would make it pointless no matter how strong her mind was. Forget about her. Even if the sect master of the corpse sect saw this, they would go crazy over this information. This head jerked up as she stared at Wang Lin. Even her speech became incoherent. It was impossible to express the shock and excitement in her heart with words. It was as if countless bolts of heavenly thunder had exploded in her mind. Wang Lin calmly accepted the tea from the sect member behind him. After taking a light sip, he looked at the beautiful woman. I wonder what rank this corpse would be. Lately, Leo has been having half headaches, always seeming to see light waves in the form of lines, affecting my vision, sometimes momentarily half-blinded, perhaps too exhausted. Chapter 1096. A heaven-shaking secret. The beautiful woman struggled to suppress the shock in her heart and slowly said, This corpse, this is only the divine sense imprint of the divine emperor. Unless I see the real corpse, it is difficult for this little woman to decide. However, the corpse from inside the jade constantly emerged in her head and made her heart pound. Oh? Wang Lin looked at the woman as he blew the hot tea and calmly said, Is that so? Then let's forget about it. I originally didn't have much hope for this, so knowing or not knowing doesn't matter much. The beautiful woman's expression changed, and she immediately said, Did Divine Emperor give Li Yunzi the same jade? Wang Lin took a sip of tea and casually said, That's correct. The beautiful woman pondered a bit. Then she looked at Wang Lin with a hint of respect and said, I can decide on this matter now, but Divine Emperor, please give me 7 days. I'll definitely give Divine Emperor an answer in 7 days. Wang Lin put down the teacup and smiled. Fellow cultivator Li doesn't need to worry. I found this corpse by accident, but I was unable to retrieve it. That's why I asked fellow cultivator Li to help identify it. The beautiful woman was very cunning, and now that she had calmed down, she naturally knew that Wang Lin hadn't just simply given up this jade. This had a deeper meaning. Moreover, this Wang Lin had already prepared these jades. He had gifted one to Li Yunzi first and then gave one to her. After hesitating for a bit, she cautiously said, I'm afraid I won't be able to attend the Divine Emperor's coronation ceremony. I'll take my leave first. Wang Lin didn't try to keep her here. He let Li Yingji leave the hall. She turned into a ray of light and quickly left. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from where the woman disappeared. He had already released the bait. Now, he just had to see if Alheaven and the corpse sect would be tempted. They will definitely be tempted. Wang Lin turned around to look at Moji and smiled. He stood up and the armor and cloak disappeared. Wang Lin was wearing a white robe as he clasped his hands at Moji and smiled. Brother Mo, it has been many years since we last met. You still look as good as ever. Moji got up and clasped his hands. There was a hint of melancholy on his face as he smiled. I'm afraid it has been almost 1,000 years since we last met. Wang Lin's eyes were also filled with reminiscence as he let out a sigh and said, Brother Mo, our reunion was predestined. You and I must debate Tao again. I still remember that rainy night. Moji smiled and nodded. The two of them walked out of the hall. The space around the volcano where Wang Lin was cultivating twisted. Wang Lin stepped out, followed by Moji. Looking at the black smoke coming out of the volcano, Wang Lin sat down. He slapped his bag and took out 2 bottles. After throwing one at Moji, Wang Lin took a drink and said, The rain is born from the sky and dies on the earth. The process in between is life. I have taken this to heart. Moji picked up the bottle and sat down. There was reminiscence in his eyes, and he smiled. When I was part of the alliance, I was stationed at Planet Suzaku at the request of my teacher. On that rainy night, I felt something, so I went out for a walk and unexpectedly met Brother Wang. Brother Wang Lin, you would have gained enlightenment on your own regarding your life and death domain even if I hadn't given the pointer. Wang Lin shook his head. Sometimes, when you just barely understand but at the same time no matter how much you think about it, it will feel as if there's something blocking your path. No matter how hard you try to break through, you be enlightened. The second time I met Brother Wang, in the Suzaku tomb, I originally wanted Brother Wang to become the Lord of Planet Suzaku, but it seems I had underestimated Brother Wang. Moji looked sincere as he picked up the wine and took a drink. I didn't expect Brother Wang to be the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor in our third meeting. I am very happy for you. The two people caught up while drinking wine. The memories of the past 1,000 years were shared and time passed quickly. It was as if they had returned back to that temple on that rainy night. Brother Wang's life and death domain has already reached completion and has changed. Your current domain is not something I can comprehend. However, my teacher said that all domains are related to your state of mind. When your heart changes, so does your domain. Perhaps this will be helpful to Brother Wang. As the two debated Tao, time gradually passed. Early in the morning, Moji said his farewells. He didn't stay to attend Wang Lin's coronation ceremony. He left with 4 pieces of jade that Wang Lin had given him, and the matter entrusted to him. The news recorded in the 4 jades was enough to shock the entire alliance. Moji had to quickly hand it over to his master and then give them to the 3 other alliance forces. As for their country of Chuyun, with Wang Lin's vague hints, Moji understood something, so he naturally wouldn't let his teacher get involved. After sending away Moji, there were more people that came to congratulate Wang Lin, but he didn't meet any of them. Time quickly passed and the day of the coronation ceremony arrived. On this day, the entire Vermilion Bird Divine sect was filled with excitement. The elders and members of the other 3 sects also came to witness the coronation of the new Divine Emperor. Although this ceremony was tedious, it was tradition, and it took an entire day to complete. The other 3 sects took their leave, and the Vermilion Bird Divine sect slowly returned back to normal. Large amounts of members were concentrated on cultivation. As for the elders, they all became aware of the plan to save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. They all went into closed-door cultivation to keep their condition at the peak. After all, saving the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor was a very important matter. At this moment, Wang Lin's figure appeared at the edge of the Vermilion Bird Divine sect's burning starfield. There was an origin soul floating before him. This origin soul looked like a middle-aged man. He looked at Wang Lin with eyes filled with kindness and satisfaction. You were very good. During my remaining years, you were not the most talented person I've ever met, but you were the one I am most satisfied with. I feel very assured leaving the Vermilion Bird Divine sect to you. Wang Lin silently pondered. Unfortunately, I don't have much time. If I had more time, I am confident I could given you the complete inheritance. What a pity, the middle-aged man shook his head and sighed. He looked at Wang Lin and softly said, I fear that I won't be able to return from this trip to the Alliance headquarters. However, no matter what the price, I'll get that Rain Celestial Realm crystal. Right now, 90% of my origin is here. I'll go absorb all the avatars I scattered. I let in Hungarian foreigns of my origin soul with my physical body. Once I obtain the crystal, I'll use a secret origin soul transfer method to send the crystal to my physical body. After you receive the crystal, if you can save the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, do it. If not, then keep yourself safe first. The middle-aged man spoke as if he was settling things for when he died. With that white flame, my body will not rot for 3,000 years. Every 100 years, you need to cultivate near my body and absorb the fire origin energy stored inside it. It will be a great help to your cultivation. Remember it well. However, if there is a life and death situation, don't worry about my body. Use the 9 mysterious transformations to explode my body. Perhaps it will allow you or the Vermilion Bird Divine sect to get through a crisis. The middle-aged man reluctantly looked at the surrounding burning star field and at the distant Vermilion Bird Divine sect planets. There was melancholy and reluctance on his face. Wang Lin, I am going to leave ILL. Also find news of your senior brother Qing Shui as well. The middle-aged man looked at Wang Lin with kindness in his eyes as he placed his right hand on Wang Lin's head, and softly said, I hope you don't think badly of me for leaving such a bad situation in your hands. He took a profound look at Wang Lin before turning around and walking away. He looked very elegant, as if he was just released from countless years of pressure, and he slowly walked forward. My name is Lu Yun, and I was born in the ancient QI refiner world. I became the alchemy boy of the 4th generation Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. I am thankful to the 4th Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor for not abandoning me and teaching me QI cultivation. At the age of 1,327, I gained some achievements as a QI refiner. I followed the Divine Emperor and witnessed the glory of my Vermilion Bird Divine sect. At age 2,945, I became an elder of the Vermilion Bird Divine sect. At age 4,760, I became one of the head elders and passed my first Heaven S Blight. At age 6,215, I was given the Vermilion Bird Mark and achieved my first awakening. I beat everyone else that had awakened and became number 1 among the awakened. At age 7,912, with the help of the 4th Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor, I completed my second awakening. From then on, I was selected to be the next Divine Emperor, the young lord of the Vermilion Bird Divine sect. At age 11,463, the Tattoo clan invaded from outside and stirred up the world. My Vermilion Bird Divine sect helped the Celestial Realm battle the Tattoo clan. Afterwards, the 4th Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor left with the other 3 Divine Emperors to head to the outside world. Before they left, I was designated the 5th Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. At that time, I had just passed my second Heaven S Blight with the help of the 4th Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor. It was at that moment that I learned a heaven-shaking secret about my 4 Divine sect. The 4 Divine sect are not people from this sealed realm. They came from outside a long time ago. At the same time, I learned that the 4 Divine sect's first Divine Emperors and members came from a small cultivation planet when the ancient celestial realm still existed. That cultivation planet is the root of my 4 Divine sect and also the road home. That planet is still within the control of my Vermilion Bird Divine sect, and there were no disagreements from the other 3 sects. After all, not many knew about this. In order to prevent everything that could happen in the future, it was already the deepest secret within the 4 Divine sects since the first generation of Divine Emperors. Not even Celestial Emperor Qing Lin knew about this. After the 4 Divine Emperors took over the brilliant void star system, they created many similar planets. With these additional planets to confuse people, almost no one was able to recognize the original planet. In addition, the first generation Divine Emperors used various methods to hide the planet. This ensured that the planet wouldn't be completely found even after a long time. After thousands of years, something strange happened in the celestial realm. At that moment, all creatures in the world seemed to become confused and were in a state of chaos. These past few days, I've always been prodding myself to wish for likes on the VIDEO, but I always forget. Now there are only the last 12 hours left to double the likes for the VIDEO. Tears in the hope of likes. Brothers, don't hold back. Chapter 1097. The Chaos Caused by Tuo Sen. And I also became confused for a moment under this unimaginable power. I originally thought it was only for a moment, but it lasted for 3 whole months. When I became sober after 3 months, the celestial realm had already collapsed. The new Azure Dragon Divine Emperor didn't listen to me and went to check the celestial realm. After that, he never returned. Another several hundreds of years passed. Due to the collapse of the celestial realm, the brilliant void star system became chaotic. Then an organization called the Cultivation Alliance appeared, and there was the shadow of the brilliant void realm behind it. This Cultivation Alliance used some unknown method to obtain a majority of the Rain Celestial Realm's inheritances. I originally wanted to go ask for the whereabouts of the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, but my 3rd Heaven S Blight had arrived many years ahead of time. I had to go into closed-door cultivation, but it was at this moment that the Cultivation Alliance launched their attack on the 4 Divine sect. The Black Tortoise Divine Emperor betrayed us, and although I seriously injured him, I wasn't able to kill him because of my 3rd Heaven S Blight. White Tiger Divine Emperor died in battle, and even his corpse was robbed. What was ridiculous was that although the Cultivation Alliance's losses were great, they didn't know the cause of this war. They always thought that it was to battle for the ownership of the brilliant void star system. What they didn't know was that this wasn't a battle to become the ruler of the brilliant void star system. They had used some unknown method to make the Black Tortoise Divine Emperor betray us, and then found out my 4 Divine sect's Secret. However, the brilliant Void Realm only knew of the secret. They didn't know the location of that cultivation planet. The brilliant Void star system was too vast, and it was simply too difficult to find one cultivation planet. Also, the planet had been transformed by the 4 first-generation divine emperors, so it was impossible to find anything abnormal about it. According to the agreement of the 4 first-generation divine emperors, only each generation of Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor can know the exact position of the planet. As a result, the war between the Alliance and the 4 divine sects began. When things became dangerous, I didn't hesitate to threaten them with the 4 holy treasures. I was willing to pay the price, but I still wasn't able to keep the secret, even with my power. This was, after all, related to the life and death of all the members of the 4 divine sect. In the end, I told them the location of the planet. The brilliant Void Realm was also concerned about the 4 holy treasures, and the secret I told them involved too many things. So they weren't able to authenticate it. It was only then that the war with the 4 divine sects slowly ended. I took the 4 divine sect and went into hiding, but I was too injured. However, I was unwilling to die. After all, if I died, the 4 divine sect would immediately be torn apart also. I hadn't found someone to inherit the secret. I was able to remain alive thanks to a spell, and endured the pain of the 3rd Heaven-S blight I couldn't get past. I lasted for countless years. Now I am finally about to be free. The middle-aged man's figure gradually went away, but his voice echoed in Wang Lin's mind for a long time. Wang Lin, remember what I'm about to say. This is the deepest secret of my 4 divine sect. I don't know why the first-generation divine emperors placed such an importance to it, but remember it well and pass it on. The entire 4 divine sect came from one planet. You can think of it as a door. This door was divided into 4 parts by the 4 first-generation divine emperors, and they were hidden within 4 cultivation planets. They were dispersed in different regions. When the ancient celestial realm disappeared and the world was divided into 4 celestial realms, the 4 planets were ended in each of the 4 different star systems. I only told the brilliant Void Realm one of them, which is your birth planet, Planet Suzaku. As for the other 3 locations, I don't know if they changed or what they are called now. But remember these 3 star maps. As the middle-aged man's message entered Wang Lin's mind, 3 ancient star maps immediately appeared along with it. At this moment, Wang Lin was very shocked. He didn't think the 4 divine sect had such a secret. Moreover, he didn't think that the planet Suzaku he came from was unexpectedly the key to the war between the Alliance, the brilliant Void Realm, and the 4 divine sect. No wonder. One of the old divine emperor's avatars was always on planet Suzaku. No wonder Moji's master made him stay on planet Suzaku. I fear his master isn't an ordinary person. I wonder how he was able to see some clues on this matter. No wonder Liu Mei also appeared on planet Suzaku. Even the Tattoo clan was on planet Suzaku. Wang Lin gradually learned about the old divine emperor's avatar, Huang Long, throughout the last 3 years. The middle-aged man had left all this information as he went away, but then he suddenly paused. He looked at Wang Lin with a kind smile and softly said, "If the pressure's too large, if the 4 divine sect has no hope of returning to its former glory, if the heavens really want to destroy my 4 divine sect, well, then there is no need to force yourself." After leaving those last words, the middle-aged man took a step and disappeared. Wang Lin's lonely figure was left in the star in a daze. What he had just heard had shocked him to the point where he couldn't think. Took a long time for him to recover. At this moment, a ray of light shot toward the very large floating palace that belonged to the Thunder Celestial Temple in the western region. There was a figure inside this ray of light, and this figure was an origin soul. The origin soul was almost transparent, with numerous red lines spread across. It looked very shocking. The origin soul's face had a strange smile, as if he was enjoying great pleasure. However, his eyes were filled with fear and chaos. "Master Flemspark, save me!" Just as he got near the Thunder Celestial Temple, the origin soul sent out a sharp message. The message began to echo across the stars. In an instant, many figures came out from the palace. The person in front was covered in flames. He had white hair, and he was the Thunder Celestial Temple's Master Flamespark. He took a step and instantly arrived next to the origin soul. He revealed a very serious expression as his hand formed a seal and grabbed the origin soul. His left hand quickly pointed at the origin soul several times. Every time he pointed, rich origin energy entered the origin soul. The red line shrank, but no matter what, they couldn't be forced out from Li Yunzi's body. As the origin energy entered his origin soul, Li Yunzi became sober and quickly said, "While returning, I was ambushed by people of the corpse sect before he could finish speaking." The red lines that had been suppressed by the origin energy began to struggle. Li Yunzi immediately paused, and the smile that was not a smile emerged. The confusion in his eyes also returned. Although he didn't finish speaking, his words had clearly entered the ears of all the elders that had come out. Their expressions immediately became extremely gloomy. Corpse sect. Master Flamespark frowned as he mercilessly pointed to between Lin Yunzi's eyebrows. Li Yunzi trembled and regained his sanity. Master Flamespark shouted, "Li Yunzi, speak clearly. Why did the corpse sect ambush you? The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor is Wang Lin. He wanted me to hand you a jade. On the way back, I was ambushed by the people of the corpse sect and was inflicted with the seventh heaven poison. Although Li Yunzi's cultivation level was higher than Situnan's, he hadn't reached the Nirvana Shatterer stage yet. Now his body was gone, and he wasn't as talented as Situnan to find other ways to suppress the poison. Due to various reasons, the poison inside Li Yunzi became extremely vicious. As he spoke, his right hand struggled to reach at the void before him. A crack appeared, and a jade flew out. After doing all this, he could no longer resist the poison in his body. He coughed out a mouthful of essence origin energy and passed out. Master Flamespark caught the jade and checked it with his divine sense. Even with Master Flamespark's mental fortitude, his expression changed greatly, and his eyes shined brightly. This news. Master Flamespark felt as if he was struck by thunder and remained still. He subconsciously checked it again to confirm the contents. At this moment the gazes of the elders all turned toward him. Master Flamespark waved his right hand, and the jade was passed to the old man next to him. The old man had a serious expression as he scanned it with his divine sense. Then his expression changed greatly too. It didn't take long for all the elders present to see it. All of them had very strong reactions after seeing the contents of the jade. One of the old men pondered for a bit and then slowly said, "We don't know if this is true or a lie. If someone like this is able to escape, it will be a catastrophe for the entire Alliance star system. Although this matter doesn't matter to us much, if the information in this jade is true, then Myall Heaven would lose all hope to occupy the Alliance. We would need to immediately return to Al Heaven and set up heavy protection. If that person enters Al Heaven," the elder's eyes were filled with terror. "This matter is likely false. There is no way such a person can exist. The contents say that even U.S. Nirvana Shatterer cultivators would be seriously injured, if not killed, with just the point of a finger. It is too absurd." Some of them didn't believe this and let out cold snorts. Master Flamespark suddenly said, "Does everyone still remember that moon beast?" All the elders were startled, as if they had realized something. However, there is no need to care too much about it. After all, just as Master Flamespark was speaking, he suddenly stopped, and his expression became extremely respectful as if he was listening to something. Master Flamespark's strange expression didn't shock any of the elders. Instead, they all became respectful as well. A moment later, Master Flamespark's expression changed once more. He faced the west as he clasped his hands and respectfully said, "As you command." His eyes became serious as he looked around and said, "Stop all battles with the Alliance and summon all Nirvana Scryer and above cultivators here. Wait for my command after I return from the Four Divine Sect." The same scene occurred inside the Corpse Sect. Only, compared to All Heaven, the jade Li Yingji had brought back caused the Corpse Sect to go completely crazy over the contents. 5,000 words in a major chapter. Seizing the moment when brothers and sisters feel comfortable, Lio wishes for the like button for the VIDEO, for sharing, for channel follows without hesitation. Chapter 1098. Broken Sword. The Corpse Sect was located in the southern region of the Alliance. At the center of the region, there was a coffin. Li Yingji was on one knee before this coffin with her hands before her chest as if she was praying. There was a jade releasing white light floating before her. This was only a very ordinary jade. It looked very common, but it would cause a catastrophe in the Alliance. It was enough to make everyone go crazy, especially the Corpse Sect. Li Yingji spoke in detail of everything that had happened since she arrived at the Four Divine Sect. Then she handed over the jade. An invisible force suddenly appeared, and pulled the jade toward the center of the coffins. The moment the jade flew over, a dried-up hand reached out from the biggest coffin in the center and immediately grabbed the jade. There were black and red lines intersecting across the arm. The black was the tendons and the red was the flesh. They intersected with each other and gave off an ancient aura as if this arm came from ancient times. The moment this arm appeared, an extremely powerful yin energy spread out and swept the area. Not even Li Yingji could withstand it and was forced to retreat, but she had an extremely respectful expression. When the arm caught the jade, a powerful divine sense spread out and entered the jade. This divine sense was very powerful, and the moment it appeared, Li Yingji's face turned pale. Even her origin soul began to tremble. This divine sense was filled with a tyrannical frenzy, as if it wanted to rush out from the coffin and tear up the stars and slaughter all life. There was a powerful scent of blood coming from this divine sense. In truth, there was no smell of blood, but the feeling of being inside this divine sense would make you feel like you smelled blood. "You, what is your name?" A message came from the powerful divine sense. Li Yingji was like a lonely boat in the raging waves. Disciple Li Yingji greets the third king. The beautiful woman knelt on the ground and fear filled her eyes. She didn't think this jade would awaken the third king. When she thought about the legends of the third king, Li Yingji became nervous. Originally, she thought that although the news within this jade would cause shock, at most it would only awaken the fifth king. She had some speculation about the corpse imprinted in his jade. However, the moment this slaughtered divine sense spread out, Li Yingji knew that she had underestimated the corpse recorded inside the jade. Not only her, but almost all the disciples of the corpse sect in the southern region felt this divine sense cover the area. They stopped what they were doing and knelt down and worshiped. "You have done a great deed bringing this jade back. You can go inside the corpse pit, and I give you the right to enter the 6th floor of the pit to pick a corpse." As the gloomy voice echoed within Li Yingji's ears, she trembled in excitement. Thinking about some of the legendary corpses on the 6th floor, Li Yingji's breathing became rough. "Many thanks, third king." The gloomy voice slowly spread out. "Do you know what the corpse recorded inside this jade is?" Li Yingji pondered a bit, and after hesitating a bit, she said, "Disciple, doesn't he know much, but I have a vague guess that this should be an ancient god from primordial times." A long laugh echoed. This gloomy voice seemed to be very excited. As the laughter echoed, the divine sense seemed to fluctuate as well. "Ancient god. This body does indeed belong to an ancient god. If it was only an ordinary ancient god, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it is unexpectedly a royal ancient god. An 8-star royal ancient god in the end." The greed in the voice was heaven-shaking. It even caused the origin energy in the star field to change. Royal ancient god Li Yingji was startled, but didn't ask. "Summon all disciples of the corpse sect. Use the blood of the heavens to open the 9th layer of the corpse pit and take out 8 bodies. This time, 8 of the 9 kings of the corpse sect will head out. Summon back all elders of the corpse sect. My corpse sect must obtain the corpse of this royal ancient god." A thunderous voice echoed across the southern region, and it was clearly felt by all corpse sect members. They trembled and quickly acknowledged the order. As a result, a huge storm was set off in the southern region. Disciple isn't sure of the validity of the information in this jade. Li Yingji was shocked. Although she knew the contents were going to shock the entire corpse sect, this was no mere shock. The corpse sect was moving all its forces. As a result, she couldn't help but panic. If this jade was real, it wouldn't matter, but she wasn't sure. If the contents of the jade were proven false, she would have to bear unimaginable consequences. After all, she had brought back the jade. "No problem. The Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor told you bring it here." Given his status, there's a 70% of it being true. The 4 divine sect would not easily spread false news. It would be equal to teasing my corpse sect, Alheaven, and the remaining alliance forces. However, I will have to personally take a trip to the 4 divine sect. The 2 pieces of jade were like 2 giant invisible hands that affected the hearts of countless people. It was like an undercurrent that began to move, and something heaven-shattering was going to happen. Similarly, when Moji returned to the country of Chuyun, the 3 jades were quickly sent to the other 3 powerful alliance forces. At the same time, with the ceasefire from Alheaven, large amounts of cultivators left the battlefield. The people of the corpse sect stopped trading with both sides and quickly went back to their sect. These strange changes caught the attention of the alliance cultivators. The person who caused all of this, Wang Lin, calmly stayed in the Vermilion Bird Divine sect. He sat next to the edge of the volcano and calmly cultivated. There was a large toad sitting next to him. Thunder continued to flash around the toad, making crackling sounds. The thunder toad seemed to be able to withstand the high temperature here. With the big war imminent, Wang Lin knew he didn't have much time left. He had improved his spells as much as possible so he could survive the next big battle. At the same time, he was waiting for the corpse sect in Heaven to send people again. Wang Lin was confident that the two different jades he sent would make those two forces come to him. Wang Lin's mind was extraordinary, but he rarely used schemes. The reason he hadn't schemed much before was not because he couldn't it was due to his previous status. Before, anything he did would merely be small tricks. However, with the 4 divine sect behind him, he was able to use open schemes. He had plainly told everyone news about the ancient god, and everyone also knew that Wang Lin must have been plotting something. Anyone with any intelligence would be able to clearly see this. If Wang Lin hadn't become the Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor and released this news, it wouldn't have had any effect. Instead, it would be inviting disaster for himself. Whether it was the corpse sect or Heaven, they would first capture him and question him. However, right now, whether it was the corpse sect or Heaven, they didn't have this choice. After all, there was also a third side they could never get along with, the alliance cultivators. Also, the mysteries of the 4 divine sect and its previous status as the overlord of the system was enough to deter people. They knew that the price of war would be too high. This was the real reason Wang Lin dared to spread this news. Similarly, Wang Lin knew that his identity as an ancient god was no longer any secret among the powerful cultivators in the Alliance star system. After all, in the demon spirit land, Wang Lin had displayed all his power, and the spell dream of ancient times had appeared as well. Wang Lin refused to believe that it hadn't raised any suspicions or speculations. This was also one of the main reasons Wang Lin had agreed to come with the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor so easily. If he hadn't with his serious injuries, he would have found it difficult to move even one step. He would be hunted night and day, and sooner or later, he would be caught. It was because of this that him spreading the news of Tuo Sen was even more credible. Also, there was no need to lie. Once they arrived at the land of the ancient god on planet Suzaku, they would immediately know if it was real or not. Heaven, Corpse Sect, Cultivation Alliance. I wonder if these 3 forces will be able to deal with Tuo Sen. Wang Lin pondered for a bit, and then no longer thought about this matter. In truth, luring the 3 forces to go to planet Suzaku was only the first part of this plan. In truth, he had another surefire plan. Taking a deep breath, Wang Lin looked up at the thunder toad next to him. The toad seemed to be asleep, but strands of fire origin energy entered its body. The thunder toad and mosquito beast were released by Wang Lin after he arrived at the 4 divine sect to cultivate on their own. Yesterday, the thunder toad came from the black tortoise divine sect and found Wang Lin through their connection. The mosquito beast should have already arrived. Why has it not come to me? The elders of the azure dragon divine sect said they saw the mosquito beast leave before them. Even though the mosquito beast isn't as fast as the elders, it should have arrived after this much time. Wang Lin frowned as he pondered, but he suppressed the doubt in his heart. Forget it. It could just be the mosquito beast being playful, and he was delayed a few days. Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and pointed to his body. His face became strangely red and there was trace of pain in it. With Wang Lin's control of fire origin energy, it was hard for him to feel heat that was difficult to bear, and even harder to feel heat that could make him sweat. However, at this moment, large drops of sweat appeared on his forehead. After a long time, Wang Lin let out a mouthful of foul air. There was a flash of red and a broken sword was slowly pushed out from his chest. Waking up early today, not updating on time even earlier. Leo went to deal with household chores, unsure what time I'll be back this afternoon. The new chapter tonight might be late. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1099, Outsider. This broken sword was completely red. and the moment it appeared, a monstrous slaughter energy appeared. This slaughter energy was so powerful that it immediately charged out of the planet. Even the flames around the planet paused and were pushed aside by this slaughter energy. This broken sword was the root of gray-robed, all-seer's slaughter energy. After the battle at the demon spirit land, the broken half had stayed in Wang Lin's body. During these 3 years, while he healed and cultivated, he had also been slowly refining his sword. The part that was in his origin soul had already dissipated, leaving only this broken sword in his body. After 3 years of refining this, I've gained some basic understanding. Once I refine this, I can cultivate the celestial slaughter art without any issue. There will be no danger of blowing up once I reach 1 million strands of slaughter energy. Wang Lin still couldn't forget the slaughter energy. After all, he had cultivated it for many years and had gotten very far. At that time, it was with the help of ancient Demon Beilu that he understood the harm of the celestial slaughter art. If he had continued cultivating it, his body would have collapsed and become a real strand of slaughter energy. He would become something that belonged to gray-robed all-seer. In the end, he had to give it up, but he also felt regret. However, at this moment, this regret disappeared as he stared at the broken red sword. Wang Lin's right eye lit up, and a sea of flames suddenly appeared. The flames surrounded the broken sword and slowly burned it. As the sword burned, Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and pointed to between his eyebrows. His ancient thunder dragon origin soul flew out from between his eyebrows and spat out a mouthful of essence origin energy. Wang Lin's second origin soul, formed by the 9 mysterious transformation, also opened his eyes and spat out another mouthful of essence origin energy. As a result, the fire and thunder essence origin energy appeared. The moment it got near the flames around the sword, the flames became even more intense, as if hot oil had been thrown in. A thunderous rumble echoed endlessly. The edges of the broken sword began to show signs of melting, but just at this moment, cold slaughter energy appeared to resist the flames. Wang Lin wasn't unfamiliar with this phenomenon, as this always happened when he refined this sword before. However, Wang Lin didn't have time to waste today. He had refined this sword to become his. Then, he would be able to cultivate the celestial slaughter art again, as it was a very powerful defensive spell. If it was before he finished the first transformation, Wang Lin wouldn't be confident, but right now he was 70% confident. He withdrew his gaze from the broken sword he was refining, took a deep breath, and both his hands formed a seal. The flame in his right eye became even stronger, as if it would light up the heavens. Wang Lin pointed up at the sky, and his second origin soul did the same. At this moment, an unimaginably powerful fire suddenly came out of Wang Lin's origin soul. It came out through Wang Lin's right hand and formed a sea of flames in the sky. "Flames, gather!" Wang Lin's voice was low. The moment he spoke, all the fire origin energy on the planet he was on trembled and gathered toward him. Not was only the cultivation planet like this, even the burning star field was the same. When a large amount of fire origin energy had gathered, Wang Lin pointed at the broken sword. The gathered fire origin energy shot toward the broken sword, and the speed at which the broken sword melted increased several-fold. However, similarly, the slaughter energy coming out from the broken sword increased to resist the flame. Wang Lin stared at the broken sword for a moment, and his right eye flashed. The second origin soul inside the ancient thunder dragon origin soul rushed out. It came out from Wang Lin's right eye and pounced at the broken sword. At this instant, Wang Lin made a seal with his hands and spat something out. It was the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. Magic Arsenal, Master Void, Allseer, appear. After Wang Lin spoke, he waved his right hand, and specks of light surrounded the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. The specks of light soon gathered and formed the figures of 2 souls. It was Master Void and the Allseer formed by the fusion of the 2 avatars. The moment the 2 trapped souls appeared, they pounced at the broken sword. They circled the broken sword with Wang Lin's second origin soul to help refine it. At the same time, Wang Lin raised his left hand and pressed down on the volcano. The volcano began to rumble, and the black smoke intensified and a heat wave suddenly rushed out from inside the volcano. Red lava also came out with the heat wave. However, with a wave of his left hand, the magma flowed like water and surrounded the broken sword. It formed a ball of magma 100 feet wide, causing the temperature inside to become even higher. This time, Wang Lin was willing to pay any cost to completely refine this slaughter sword from gray-robed All-Seer. He was using his second origin soul, Master Void, All-Seer, the fire origin energy of the world, and finally this lava to form a shell to speed up the refining process. Wang Lin was below the 100 feet ball as he controlled the fire origin energy to enter the ball. Time slowly passed, and soon it had been 12 hours since he started. Wang Lin couldn't last long using this intense refining method. If it went on for too long, not only would Wang Lin's origin energy not be able to handle it, he would also consume the celestial origin energy he had gained from devouring those dozens of celestials. After 12 hours had passed, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly and he let out a roar. He waved his hand and the ball of magma shattered into countless pieces of burning debris. At this moment, the broken sword could no longer resist the intense heat, so it melted completely. Wang Lin's second origin soul devoured the melted sword and returned to Wang Lin's body. Master Void and the All-Seer's souls also returned to the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. Wang Lin closed his eyes and cultivated for a bit. A red sword slowly condensed before his second origin soul. It gave off powerful slaughter energy, and with just a thought the slaughter energy would rush out. It's a pity that refining this sword has consumed so much of the slaughter energy it had. There are less than 1 million strands of slaughter energy remaining. I will need to continue to cultivate it and add more. Wang Lin opened his eyes and let out a deep breath. Then he slapped his bag of holding, causing a black light to fly out, and it turned into a trident before Wang Lin. Wang Lin stared at the trident, but just at this moment, his expression changed and he looked up. Guilt and sadness immediately appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. I still have to give him an explanation about this matter. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he put the trident away and disappeared. There was another planet not far away from the planet Wang Lin was on. This was also one of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect's main planets. This planet had numerous fiery red mountains and was very beautiful. At this moment, there was a woman kneeling on the highest peak of the planet. She was very beautiful, but she had a bitter expression, and she remained motionless while kneeling. Before her was a black stone carving of Wang Lin. Behind the statue was the entrance to a cave, and it was pitch black inside. There was a youth in black sitting next to the statue. This youth had a cold expression. He didn't even look at the woman, and calmly cultivated. I beg you let me go, and the woman's eyes were filled with tears as she spoke to the man in black. The youth in black opened his eyes and coldly said, "No." The woman's body trembled and she was about to speak, but just at this moment, a sigh echoed across the sky. Ripples appeared on the peak of the mountain and Wang Lin stepped out. As soon as Wang Lin appeared, the youth in black became excited and respectful. He got up and said, 13 greets, master. When the woman saw Wang Lin, her expression became even more bitter, but she didn't speak. Wang Lin nodded at 13, and gently said to the woman, "Ling take me to meet your great-grandfather." Great-grandpa, he won't last much longer. Tears flowed down from Ling's eyes. The guilt in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger as he waved his sleeves and he disappeared with Ling. After he left, a pair of eyes lit up within the cave at the top of the mountain. Wang Lin's original body opened his eyes and also revealed guilt. The star-marked sable was on his shoulder, and it would occasionally lick Wang Lin's neck. No saw that Wang Lin was sitting on bones. It was an eerie sight. A white-haired old man who looked very old was drinking wine on the wall of a city in the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. There was a look of madness in his eyes. "Second brother, third brother, big brother has wronged both of you. I am sorry." The old man poured wine into his mouth, allowing the wine flow out from the corner of his mouth and fuse with his tears. He was drinking his wine in tears. Due to the mixture of tears, the wine was no longer sweet, but deeply bitter. Along with the bitterness in his heart, rather than saying he was drinking wine, it was more like he was drinking his own tears. A ripple appeared behind him, and Wang Lin and Ling appeared. When Ling saw the old man's appearance, even more tears appeared in her eyes. She was about to go take the wine from the old man, but she was stopped by Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he walked next to the old man. He sat down on the wall, casually picked up a wine jug, and also took a big gulp. At this moment, in the center part of the Alliance star system, where the Alliance forces were, a group of dozens of mosquito beasts passed by. Their eyes were completely red, and an aroma that only the mosquito beasts could smell spread. It was as if these mosquito beasts were being controlled by this fragrance. There were 3 young men wearing yellow before them. They were each holding a strange incense while carefully luring this herd of mosquito beasts. One of them spoke while greed filled his eyes. I didn't think this Alliance star system would have giant mosquito beasts. If the 3 of us bring these giant mosquito beasts to meet with the Elder, we will be rewarded greatly. His way of speaking was a bit different from people of the Alliance, as if he came from outside the Alliance star system. Finally, the weekend is here, and Leo can finally sleep to his heart's content, not needing to get up early to take the daughter to school. Been burning the midnight oil these past few days, utterly exhausted. Chapter 1100. Have you seen through it? Wang Lin and Master Yi Chen just sat there while silently drinking their own bottles of wine. Sometimes they would look at the red sky in the distance while the heat waves rolled by. Dead third brother is dead, and second brother's origin soul dissipated. Master Yi Chen bitterly drank a mouthful of wine and threw it on the side. The 3 Chen brothers. I am now the only one left. Wang Lin silently pondered as he took a drink of wine. He softly said, "Back then, I shouldn't have asked the 3 of you to go with me." Master Yi Chen suddenly turned to look at Wang Lin with a ferocious expression filled with hatred. Wang Lin silently looked back at Master Yi Chen. The 2 stared at each other for a very long time. The ferociousness on Master Yi Chen's face gradually dissipated and became bleak. Then he said to Ling Er behind him, "Ling Er, go get more wine." He then turned around and looked at the fiery red world. Cultivators go against the heavens. Since we walk on this path of no return, it is inevitable that we will disappear someday. This I understand. When you invited the 3 of us to the demon spirit land, you didn't force us. We all volunteered. This I also understand. Master Yi Chen had a bitter expression as he looked at the scattered wine jugs around him. He picked up a few to find them empty. Wang Lin silently handed the wine in his hand to Master Yi Chen. Master Yi Chen took a big gulp, and tears flowed down his eyes as he muttered, "I hate myself for my cultivation level being too low. I hate that I have no way to resurrect my 2 brothers. I hate that I'm unable to get revenge and have wronged the both of them." At this moment, Ling Er brought wine from the city. Her eyes were red as she gently placed the wine jugs next to Master Yi Chen. Wang Lin picked up a wine jug and drank an entire jug in one gulp. His eyes revealed a decisively gaze as he said, "Master Yi Chen, I am responsible for this matter. If I had not taken the 3 of you, then such a tragedy would not have occurred. The person who killed your brothers is ancient devil Tajia. It won't be long before you can personally kill ancient devil Tajia and get revenge for your brothers." Master Yi Chen's body trembled as he looked at Wang Lin with excitement in his eyes. "Is this true? This is my promise to you." Wang Lin placed the wine jug on the ground and looked into the distance. It was as if he was remembering something, and he slowly said, "Life and death fills one's life. Once you have seen through it, you will get through it. Your 2 brothers still have you to remember them. Cultivators like us are often meet with life and death situations. How many cultivators die each time? How many people will remember them, and how many will even be remembered? After stepping on this abnormal road, we must see through life and death. We must see through our own life and death and others' lives and deaths as well. When I sent the ashes of an old friend back to his hometown, I once heard a nursery rhyme from a child. The apricot tree blooms white flowers. The daughter won't be taken by a Taoist family. Last year, Lang II went up the mountain, and a year later, Lang I was a bag of bones. The cry of the daughter accompanies the dead, but takes the coffin as family. The apricot tree blooms white flowers, and children shouldn't be taken by Taoists. If asked about my age, I still haven't found my Tao. The dog barks, the cat scratches, scaring the Taoists back home. A little nursery rhyme was able to point out the sadness of U.S. cultivators. Master Yi Chen, see through it. Once you've seen through it, your pain will lessen. Wang Lin's voice was calm, but it was filled with powerful melancholy. After leaving these words, he stood up and left. His figure looked even more bleak and lonely than Master Yi Chen's. Master Yi Chen stared at Wang Lin's figure as Wang Lin's words echoed in his mind. Seeing Wang Lin leaving, he stood up and shouted, "Have you seen through it?" In the distance, Wang Lin trembled and stopped. He didn't look back, but after pondering for a long time, he softly said, "I haven't seen thought it," with a hint of bitterness. Wang Lin turned into a ray of light and flew off into the sky. Time slowly passed. After Wang Lin left Master Yi Chen, he sat down next to the volcano. Scenes of the past slowly replayed in his mind. He wasn't able to see through life and death, so he had to endure more than 1,000 years of pain and loneliness. He would still need to continue enduring it. He struggled with this pain in his heart as he walked down the vast road of cultivation with no end in sight. Aside from the sizzling sounds from the black smoke rising from the volcano, there was also sound of the fire burning. Aside from that, everything was completely silent. As Wang Lin silently sat in this silence, there was a coffin before him. This coffin was made of crystal, and there was a woman inside it. Her skin was clear and she didn't look dead at all. Instead, she looked as if she was sleeping. This woman didn't have the beauty to shock the world, or a temperament that could ruin entire cities. However, in Wang Lin's eyes, even the most gorgeous girl couldn't compare to the woman inside the coffin at all. Wang Lin's right hand gently rubbed the coffin, and his eyes were gentle. As he looked at the woman in the coffin, he felt as if he had returned to planet Suzaku. Wang Lin was still unable to see through life and death. At this moment, it was as if nothing else in the world remained. The only thing left was him and the woman inside the coffin. He felt loneliness as he silently looked at the woman that had accompanied him for over 1,000 years. Then Wang Lin gradually found a glimmer of warmth. Although this warmth was small, it integrated into Wang Lin's origin soul. It was like an illusion from the other side of the river that might disappear at any time, but you still refused to look away even if that river was life and death. The woman inside the coffin had been Wang Lin's only hope for more than 1,000 years of cultivation. As he stared at the woman, he seemed to forget everything. When you awaken, we will find a haven no one else can find and quietly settle down, Wang Lin revealed a gentle smile. This very small desire was Wang Lin's biggest wish. The me from before didn't understand, but now I understand, Wang Lin muttered as a deep sense of sadness and melancholy was released from his body. Before he didn't really understand the feelings between Zhou Yi and Qing Shuang. However, after more than 1,000 years of cultivation and endless loneliness, Wang Lin understood. It was a kind of spiritual hope, it was a kind of perseverance and struggle, but also a sense of unwillingness. Wanger, remember that even if the heavens want you to die, I'll take you back. Wang Lin revealed a heaven-defying determination. Volcanoes were the one thing these planets that belonged to the Vermilion Bird Divine sect weren't lacking. These volcanoes were formed under special conditions, so thick magma would erupt from them very often. Every time a volcano erupted, the earth would tremble. The loud rumbling was earth shaking. The black smoke filled the sky and lava rained down, making it look like the end of the world. The disciples of the Vermilion Bird Divine sect had seen volcanic eruptions far too many times. However, Wang Lin hadn't seen many. At this moment, muffled sounds came from the volcano he was on top of, and they became even more intense. However, Wang Lin ignored all of this. Right now, Li Muan was the only thing in his eyes. The rumbling from the volcano became even more intense. In the end, it was as if a fierce beast was roaring inside the volcano, and the black smoke rushed out. The smoke spread out like crazy in the sky, covering the red light from the sky. The entire earth was now in the dark. Shortly after, the roar from the volcano became even more intense, and soon, a ray of red light shot into the sky. A pillar of lava also shot into the sky. From a distance, this scene was very shocking. At this moment, Wang Lin was sitting at the mouth of the volcano. Some of the rocks on the edge were pulled into the lava and blown into the sky. This magma charged into the air right before Wang Lin's face, less than 10 feet away. The dense heat waves and magma charged out like a fire dragon and scattered everywhere. It was as if the world was collapsing around Wang Lin, but it wasn't enough to make him look up once he just silently stared at the coffin, and didn't seem to care at all. As the volcano erupted, the earth trembled and cracks appeared, and soon everything was covered in lava. As the earth trembled and the volcano continued to erupt, lava surged out from the opening of the volcano. The lava flowed down the volcano like angry waves. As the lava flowed, it soon covered the entire volcano and continued to spread. At this moment, lava fell like the rain and covered the ground like raging waves. The world was now black and red. The black was the dense black smoke in the sky, and the red was the river like lava. Wang Lin softly said, Is this pretty? This is the power of mountain crumbles. I have waited days for this volcano to erupt. Wang Wei, accompany me and witness as I comprehend Bai Fan S4 spell mountain crumbles. Wang Lin muttered to himself as he looked at the lava falling like rain. At this moment, even more rumbling came from the volcano he was on, and it erupted again. The vibrations of the earth spread and caused another volcano in the distance to tremble. The distant volcano began spraying out smoke and lava. Wang Lin slowly closed his eyes, and the scenes of Xianxia using mountain crumbles in the slaughter realm appeared in his mind. In truth, in the demon spirit land, Wang Lin had found a trace of understanding of mountain crumbles from the volcanic eruption there, but the feeling was weak. However, due to the dangers he faced, he didn't have time to think much about it. However, the one thing the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect didn't lack was volcanoes. Now that he had more fire origin energy, he understood the mountain crumbles spell Xianxia had left him more and more. Day in, day out, nearing 3,000 words, reading a lot, but can't force myself to split the story into 2,000 words chapters, because then the flavor's gone. Leo with tears in his eyes, longing for the like button for the video.